Giggins for three. You betcha.
The pass to Miller outside three. Good.
Big block by Olsen.
Fryer in the paint. Now to Holzer. Left corner three. Bang! Bang! Oh!
Ulster Telephone Company and R&J Broadcasting Incorporated is proud to present to you this broadcast on yourliveevent.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome live inside Ralph Engelstad Arena in Thief River Falls. Tonight, a section champion will be crowned and move on to the state boys basketball tournament beginning next Tuesday. It's the top seed from either half of the section, the Sacred Heart Eagles and the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers. I'm Dawson Peterson, bringing you the play-by-play coverage tonight on 96.7 FM KKCQ, yourliveevent.com, and Garden Valley Channel 37. We welcome you inside tonight's pregame show as it's being presented to you by Solely Realty. In tonight's pregame show, we'll chat with both of our coaches in our Border Bank in Clearbrook pregame coaches interviews here in just a little bit. We'll talk about how both of these two teams got here as we wrap up the section tournament and how they got to this point in the section championship game. Talk a little keys to the game, and then finally we'll have your Palubickies Express starting lineups and then the opening tap between the Sacred Heart Eagles and the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers. 21 minutes away. It's the Section 8A Boys Basketball Championship game on KKCQ, yourliveevent.com, and Garden Valley Channel 37.
Winter is a planning season for farmers, a time when your mind is on your fields. But the shorter days doesn't mean there's less work to be done. At Sis van der Haaf, we know that lower temps won't cool your passion for production. We're continually striving to develop sugar beet varieties that thrive despite the pressures from disease and the challenges of nature. Because sharing the pride of success starts with sharing the passion to achieve it. Sis van der Haaf, a passion that grows.
The Cass Lake-Bena School District is dedicated to their students. Their mission is to educate, support, and prepare all learners for future success. Their vision, to ensure all learners achieve the highest level of critical thinking and creativity. For more information about the Cass Lake-Bena School District, visit clbs.k12.mn.us. Congratulations and best of luck to the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers from the Cass Lake-Bena School District.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Linforce, your insurance source. Visit Linforce Agency with locations in Boston, Bagley, Clearbrook, Monoman, and Ada.
Cleveguard Apartments, with locations in Ada, Fargo, and Halstead, wish all the area teams the best of luck. Cleveguard Apartments, with locations and apartment complexes in Ada, Fargo, and Halstead. Also with self-storage and commercial rental space in Ada. Cleveguard Apartments. Call Mark at 701-866-7794. Best of luck to all the area teams from Mark and Geraldine at Cleveguard Apartments, with locations in Ada, Fargo, and Halstead. 701-866-7794.
Back inside the Solely Realty pregame show as we bring you our coverage tonight from Ralph Engelstad Arena, Cass Lake-Bena, and the Sacred Heart Eagles. As we jump into our Border Bank in Clearbrook pregame coaches' comments, we're going to start first with the head coach of the Sacred Heart Eagles. That is Coach Destry Sturkle. His team 27-3 here in the season. That's including these playoffs as well. This is their first time in program history that is, in the section championship game, and they're facing a tall task in the top seed on the eastern half of Section 8A, the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers. So here is our pregame conversation with Coach Destry Sturkle of the Sacred Heart Eagles, and our pregame coach's comments brought to you by the Border Bank in Clearbrook. Sacred Heart Eagles head coach Destry Sturkle with us on our Solely Realty pregame show tonight. And Coach, congratulations. We're here in the section championship game. It's the first time in program history for you guys. And really just right out of the gate, it's got to be a really good feeling. I know that last win, obviously in the semifinal, was a big emotional win. But how are the boys feeling on the drive up here and then getting into the arena?
Feeling good. We had a great 2 days of practice, mentally prepared, physically prepared. Everyone feels healthy. Good trip up here, and just excited to have a chance to punch our ticket to state. It's going to take a full effort tonight against a really good Cass Lake-Bena team, and we're up for the challenge and excited for our chances to move on.
Tell me about those 2 days of practice. How did those go? What were some of the specific things you guys may have worked on? Was it more cleaning things up on your guys' end, or was it more scout and walkthrough on Cass Lake-Bena?
It's probably about 50-50. We do have a new kind of game plan towards Cass Lake-Bena's roster and kind of force them into things that we think will slow them down and make them not as effective as maybe as good of a team as they are, because they're a heck of a good team, and we gotta really be sharp on the defensive end. And then we got some shots up and got some 5-on-5, got in the weight room, all those things we've done all year. We didn't change anything up. We want to keep doing what we do best, and that's being in the weight room, being in the practice courts, studying game film, and treating it like just another game.
Well, and I know, like you said, you treat it like another game, but obviously it is the championship game, and you guys have played here already for the last 2 rounds, but is the preparation into the arena any different? Does it feel any different? Or
I don't think so. Maybe Saturday, our first time here, but this feels like home to us now, and we're just excited to be here, and we got to kind of just have that same game mentality and just trying to live in the moment, just be the best player you can be the best coach you can be, and let the rest take care of itself.
So more specifically going down with Cass Lake-Bena, you guys mentioned you worked on some things on the defensive end and more of a specific game plan against the Panthers, good outside shooters, and Caden Lee being one of their premier playmakers. What's sort of the game plan on him on defense?
With Lee, we want to keep him in front of us and contest everything. He's quick off the dribble, can get to the hoop, real bouncy, can finish strong. But we got to contain him, make him hit contested, pull-up jumpers. And then the Fairbanks brothers, you got to slow them down, and really got to slow them down in transition. You can't just let them eat us alive there. And if they, you saw how they did against Fertile and Foss, you can't let them get those long full-court pass layups. Those are just killers when you're trying to get any kind of momentum. So essentially we got to kind of turn into a half-court game, but we want to get out and run when we get the defensive rebound. But so we'll see how it goes. Just really excited for the guys to have this opportunity, and no one really picked us to get this far except us from the start of the year throughout the year. So we're pretty loose. We're excited to be here, and it's kind of us against the world mentality, and hopefully we can come away with a win and punch our ticket to state.
Well, how do the boys handle that, the sort of chip on your shoulder style of play when maybe nobody's picked you guys to get this far, but can you sort of sense the attitude with the boys with that attitude? Or?
Absolutely. I mean, you guys come out with the magazine every year with the picks and all that, and we read it to them before every game. Northern Freeze picked this, Warren picked this, Red Lake County picked this, Cass Lake picked this. Our name's not on any of it, so had some fun with it. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day, but they're 16, 17-year-old, 15-year-old kids, and it gives them a reason to get even more fired up, and we like it too. So, kind of chip on the shoulder mentality, and we know Cass Lake's the same way. They've been, the last 4 years trying to punch their ticket to state, and with COVID interrupting 1 year and Ada's run, and then BGMR getting them last year, they're going to be itching to get to state, and so it's going to be just a heck of a battle tonight, and it's going to be fun to see how it unfolds.
All right, sounds good, Coach. Should be a fun night, and good luck.
Appreciate it. Thanks for covering us.
And that was the head coach of the Sacred Heart Eagles, Coach Destry Sturkel, talking with us in our Border Bank in Clearbrook Pre-game coaches interviews his team 27-3 coming into the section championship contest, and they will get the top seed from the eastern half of Section 8A. The Cass Lake-Bena Panthers 26-3 under head coach Alvin Wind, and we will talk with Coach Wind after this break here on 96.7 FM KKCQ, yourliveevent.com, and Garden Valley Channel 37. In the months of preparation for spring planting, all through the growing season and into the long days of harvest, the team at AgriMax is here to help farmers around the Red River Valley with a complete array of services and products. AgriMax will help reach every producer's goal, peak profitability. Contact AgriMax at their location in Fertile, Minnesota at 218-945-3536, in Fisher at 218-891-2211, or online at agrimaxllc.com.
The Leech Lake Education Department reminds families of the opportunities with early childhood, child care, Head Start, and child care scholarships. There are several classrooms throughout Leech Lake for early childhood. Learn more about these educational opportunities for your child by contacting the Leech Lake Education Department's Early Childhood Development, 218-335-8345.
American Crystal Sugar Company, with their 4,000-plus employees and shareholders, are deeply rooted in the communities of the Red River Valley. They're committed to the sustainability and growth of their business and to improving the lives in the places where we work and live by investing in people, our communities, and the future of American Crystal Sugar. Visit crystalsugar.com to learn more about scholarships, grants, volunteerism, donations, and more through the Community Roots American Crystal Giving Program. Growing strong community roots, American Crystal Sugar Company. Welcome to a caring community of older adults living safely in company with others. Welcome to Benedictine Living Community Ada, with the commitment to senior living you've come to expect from Benedictine. As a member of the Benedictine organization, Benedictine Living Community Ada can offer personalized care to your loved ones while relying on the support and expertise of a larger network of professionals. We are proud of our community and we are proud to serve you. We are Benedictine. Learn more at benedictineliving.org/together.
This is our Solely Realty pregame show, and we are inside our Border Bank in Clearbrook. Pregame coaches interviews. We just sat down and had a conversation with Coach Destry Sturkle of the Sacred Heart Eagles, 27-3 this year. This is their first ever appearance in the section championship game in the history of Sacred Heart boys basketball. On the other side of things, for the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers, they're in familiar territory. They were the runner-up back and rather finalist in 2020. That section championship game wasn't played, of course, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, but Cass Lake-Bena trying to get back to the state tournament for the first time since the year 2018. And we'll talk more about that with Coach Elvin Wind in our Border Bank in Clearbrook pregame coaches interviews right here. Cass Lake-Bena Panthers head coach Elvin Wind with us on our Solely Realty pregame show tonight. And Coach, first of all, congratulations making it into the section championship game, and sort of just talking about how are the guys feeling coming into the arena. Obviously, it's a familiar atmosphere, but how's everybody feeling? Pretty loose, or?
Yeah, I think they're pretty loose. I think again, we were here last year and they didn't play very well, so I think that little chip on their shoulder, they got some business to deal with.
So are the guys thinking back on that game at all from last year versus Badger Greenbush Middle River, or is that sort of one of those things? It's like, yeah, we know we played here, we lost last year, but it's in the back of our mind, or maybe it's in the forefront of their minds.
Yeah, I kind of think it's a little bit of both, but I kind of think it was last year, and this is a different year, and I think again, a lot of them I think have matured more and they understand.
We'll talk about maybe a few of the differences on the floor, comparing opponents with BGMR and then Sacred Heart tonight.
I think I'd say they're both. One thing that they're similar is that they're well coached, and I think they're probably they're disciplined, and they can get up and down the floor. I mean, if that's what the game dictates for us to get up and down the floor, I mean, we'll welcome that. If they want to slow it down, I guess we'll adjust, and I just think it's gonna be a good game.
When you had a couple days in between to prepare for tonight's contest, what'd you guys do in those practices? Was it more shoot-arounds and walkthroughs, or were you going a little harder in those practices?
No, I think it was more of shoot-around, walkthroughs things. We watched them before our game the other night, and I've seen them a couple other times. Just going over some things that we went over that looking for their strong points and looking for their weak points, and then things that we can attack, and then things that we need to address with what they might attack on us and stuff like that.
Well, and I see the guys in their warm-up shirts, and on the back it says, "We is greater than me." Can you sort of talk about that concept that this team has had to embrace, and how much it takes that "we is greater than me" mentality to get to this level?
I think it took a long time. I think, again, a couple of our boys that are sophomores now that came up when they were in 8th grade, and then I think a couple of the older boys at that time were sophomores at that time, and we had some seniors and juniors on the team that were real decent players, and I think somewhere along the line we would get out of our game plan, get out of our offense, get out of our sets, and it would hurt us. I mean, most of the games we looked at, if we did that, and we did, we struggled, we had a hard time, made the game harder than it should be. And I think this year we did that a couple times, and it costed us a couple games this year. Again, like I said, it's something, a goal in progress. Trying to get them all on the same page and have them understand, to play as a team and to not play individually. Not so much isolating, and trying to go one-on-one so much. And there's a time for that, and picking and choosing when to do that. I think we're getting better at that. I really feel we're not there yet, but and like I said, when it is there though, we're tough.
And last one before I let you go, I saw the bus over at Subway when I pulled into town. What's the winning sandwich in the pregame meal?
I think when we go into Subway, I think the boys pretty much order what they want, and it's been working. So okay. We stop there and eat at the Subway.
All right. Well, we'll see if you guys can keep it up tonight. Good luck.
Okay. Thank you.
And big thanks to the head coach of the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers, Coach Alvin Wind, joining us in our Border Bank in Clearbrook pregame coaches interviews here this evening. 6 minutes away from the opening tip to start off the Section 8A Boys Basketball Championship game inside Ralph Finkelstedt Arena here in Thief River Falls. We'll take a break. When we come back, more coverage of your Solely Realty pregame show on KKCQ, YourLiveEvent.com, and Garden Valley, Channel 37.
Phil Vagno, Coldwell Banker, Forks Real Estate. He's been part of the Grand Forks, East Grand Forks, and surrounding communities for over 60 years. Phil's a proud supporter of high school sports, and especially Sacred Heart Athletics, and also a proud proponent of real estate investments. Let Phil be a calming voice in the crazy world of real estate. Give him a call so he can help you out. All he asks is you give him a chance. Phil Vagno, Coldwell Banker, Forks Real Estate, 218-693-1062. Online, forksrealestate.com. Thank you, and good luck, Eagles.
Bitker Inc. reminds area farmers, please order your ag tubes and tires for spring. Ag tires and ag tube supply is tight, and it's getting tighter. If you're not sure on how many tires or ag tubes you need, call Troy, the tire guy, and give him a heads up for sizes. He'll work with you to have these available for spring. Don't wait any longer. Call Troy at Bitker Inc. 218-456-7467. And during National Ag Month, Bitker Inc. thanks the area farms and farm families for working to grow the food for all of us, and thanks for your business from Bitker Inc.
The Cass Lake-Bena School District is dedicated to their students. Their mission is to educate, support, and prepare all learners for future success. Their vision, to ensure all learners achieve the highest level of critical thinking and creativity. For more information about the Cass Lake-Bena School District, visit clbs.k12.mn.us. Congratulations and best of luck to the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers from the Cass Lake-Bena School District.
Hey folks, I'm Jimmy Don Holmes from Waco, Texas. This is my oldest son, Jake. I met the Christian family recently in Waco, and they just seem like really good people, and that's the kind of people you want to buy a car or truck from. Sometimes when you're buying a vehicle, you feel a little bit of anxiety. You won't feel that here. This place it's got a good feel, and the folks are good, and I like that. In our shop, I'm big on quality and customer service. You're going to get the quality when you buy a Chevrolet vehicle, and you're going to get the customer service when you deal with the Christian family here at Christian Motors.
We're on YourLiveEvent.com this evening, and also on Garden Valley, channel number 37. We're streaming online as well on rjbroadcasting.com. We're broadcasting live tonight from our Bid It On Auctions broadcast booth. You can dive into the world of online auctions with Bid It On Auctions at biditon.net. Online auctions for cars, trucks, ag equipment, furniture, and more. The world of online auctions is at your fingertips with Bid It On Auctions at biditon.net or call 218-766-3180. Bid It On Auctions at biditon.net or call 218-766-3180. Both teams out on the floor. We're 3 minutes away from our opening tap. It's the Section 8A Boys Basketball Championship game here from Ralph Finkelstedt Arena in Thief River Falls. Right now inside our Solely Realty pregame show, we're talking a little keys to the game for both teams, and we'll start first with the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers. And Coach Alvin Wind in our pregame coach's interview was very blunt about how his team played last season here in the championship game. Right back here, same location. The opponent, though, however, was Badger Greenbush Middle River, and he said they didn't play very good in that game. That's one of the first things he said. And part of that is coming out flat from the very get-go. And if they end up coming out flat, Sacred Heart could certainly jump all over Cass Lake-Bena. So that's going to be key number one for the Panthers. And then key number two is going to get some shots to go down early and often. Maybe they try a few more of those leak-out layup stuff like that. Try and get out and run in transition. Get those layups to fall. Build that confidence. And then, of course, they can shoot it from the outside. Dominic Fairbanks had a big game in the semifinal round against Fertile Beltrami. Had 5 3-pointers in that game. Leroy Fairbanks can certainly shoot the orange at a high clip. And then Caden Lee, the premier scorer and playmaker for the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers. For the Sacred Heart Eagles, I think one of the biggest keys for them is don't let the moment be too big at all. I know they've been here for the last couple of rounds in the quarterfinal and then the semifinal round, but this is their first appearance in program history in the Section 8A Boys Basketball Championship game. So you could sort of say the keys are going to be the same for Sacred Heart. Get out and get some easy layups, build that confidence because you're going against a very good Cass Lake-Bena Panthers team, but Sacred Heart, the Eagles, are a very good team in their own regard. The Eagles 27-3 under head coach Destry Sturkel. The Cass Lake-Bena Panthers 26-3. Quickly before we take a break, looking at how both these two teams got here. Cass Lake-Bena beat Clearbrook-Gonvick in the first round, defeated the Foston Greyhounds in the quarterfinal, and then the Fertile Beltrami Falcons in the semifinal round. For Sacred Heart, they beat the Bearcats of Kitson County Central in round number 2. Then they took on the 4-seeded Goodridge-Grigla Chargers, won by 24, 84-60. And then in the semifinal round, a 3-point victory versus the Northern Freeze. We're going to take a break here tonight as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem here on KKCQ, YourLiveEvent.com, and Garden Valley Channel 37.
Community Co-op Energy Solutions. Our team will help you with pre-buys and contracting. Our services also extend with on-farm service calls, tanks, pumps, bulk oil, DEF and tank monitoring, fuel, propane, and natural gas. Call us at 1-888-935-2281 so we can help you with energy solutions from Community Co-op. The Leech Lake Education Department reminds families of the opportunities with early childhood, child care, Head Start, and child care scholarships. There are several classrooms throughout Leech Lake for early childhood. Learn more about these educational opportunities for your child by contacting the Leech Lake Education Department's Early Childhood Development, 218-335-8345.
From all of us at Enbridge, thank you.
Thank you. Miigwech, and thank you for working on Line 3 replacement.
Thank you to everyone who supported this project.
Construction is complete on a new and safer pipeline that will deliver the North American energy that we all rely on every day, and is done thanks to the support and hard work of thousands of people. I'm grateful for every single voice of support and every hour of labor put into this project. Thank you.
Farmers, are you shopping for a bank that has many flexible options tailored to fit your farm's unique financing needs? Franzen Bank is an approved Farmer Mac lender, meaning they can offer long-term, fixed-rate loans on equipment, land, operating lines of credit, and more. Being a Farmer Mac approved lender also means Franzen Bank can get you a decision quickly. Learn more at franzenbank.com/farmermac. Franzen Bank and Trust. Real people, real results. Member FDIC.
If you're considering buying or building your first home, your dream home, or that cabin you've always wanted, talk to a local mortgage expert at Franzen Bank and Trust. They'll be with you every step of the way and find a mortgage that best fits your situation. Franzen's mobile-friendly application is easy to use and secure. Find a mortgage expert or apply online today at franzenbank.com/getthere. Franzen Bank and Trust. Real people, real results.
Gordon Construction of Mahnomen is a Native American-owned business proudly operating on the White Earth Indian Reservation since 1983. As a bonded general contractor, Gordon Construction provides years of experience in large, detailed, and within-budget projects. Gordon Construction is committed to the safety of its employees and the environment of its work sites. To learn more about Gordon Construction of Mahnomen, visit gcmahnomen.com or call 218-935-2191.
This is Jim Berkemeier, owner of R&J Broadcasting Incorporated. Together with Bernie, we're inviting you to join us on a tour of Victoria, Vancouver, and the Canadian Rockies, July 14th through 23rd. On this tour, we'll visit historic Victoria, tour the breathtaking Butchert Gardens, and experience the stunning scenery of the Canadian Rockies via rails train. Visit holidayvacations.com, keyword RJ. Learn more about this tour and watch the travel show, or call 888-557-1020 for a free brochure. Remember the keyword RJ.
We built Irie Insurance with one philosophy: hire great people and provide great service and options. We want to protect your home, farm, crops, personal, and business. Hello, Shane with Irie Insurance. Since day one, we have followed this golden rule to help protect you. That's why we have so many locations like West Fargo, Devils Lake, Hope, Hillsboro, Macville, and Towner. To find out more about Irie Insurance, go to IrieInsurance.com.
You're protected and appreciated at Irie.
Broadcasting live from Ralph Engelstad Arena here in Thief River Falls. It's the Section 8A Boys Basketball Championship game. The number one seed from either half of the section. The Cass Lake-Bena Panthers and the Sacred Heart Eagles. Sacred Heart 27-3 on the season. Cass Lake-Bena 26-3. Cass Lake-Bena had to beat the Fertile Bell Trammy Falcons in their semifinal game. They did so. The Falcons, the number 2 seed, they won 75-59 to punch their ticket to tonight's championship game. For the Sacred Heart Eagles in their semifinal game, they had a barn burner with the Northern Freeze, winning by 3 points. The Freeze, the 3 seed, and the Eagles won 57-54 for their first ever appearance here in the Section 8A Boys Basketball Championship game. Time now for your Palubickies Express starting lineups, beginning with the away team on the scoreboard will be the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers. Their starting 5 goes as follows. A sophomore, number 3, Caden Lee. Sophomore, number 4, Dominic Fairbanks. Junior number 20, I beg your pardon, is Trayvon Lee. Senior number 22, Leroy Fairbanks. And a senior, number 24, is Darren Brown. Head coach for the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers, Elvin Wind. Assistant coaches, Joseph Fowler and Cody Wind. Starting 5 now for the Sacred Heart Eagles under head coach Destry Sturkle. Their 5 goes as follows. Senior number 0, Sam Gapp. Sophomore number 3, Josiah Sunby. Junior number 10, Ethan Arntzen. Junior number 23, Landon Denny. And a senior number 35 is Kobe Tompkinson. As we said, head coach for Sacred Heart, Destry Sturkle. Assistant coaches, Logan Latofsky and Oscar Ortiz III. So for Sacred Heart, it's Gap, Sunby, Arntzen, Denny, and Tompkinson. For Cass Lake-Bena, Lee, Fairbanks, and Brown. Sacred Heart in their home black uniforms with the purple lettering and numerals on the front and back. Eagles across the chest. Cass Lake-Bena in their away white uniforms trimmed in maroon, and the lettering and numerals also in maroon with Panthers across the chest. Cass Lake-Bena trying to get back to the state tournament for the first time since 2018. The Sacred Heart Eagles trying to get there for the first time in program history. Sacred Heart going from our left to right. Cass Lake-Bena going from our right to left. From our Bid It On Auctions broadcast booth, possession number 1 of the Section 8A championship game belongs to Cass Lake-Bena. Caden Lee has it across the timeline, left wing. Leroy Fairbanks skips it back across to Darren Brown. Rather, Trayvon Lee back to Fairbanks, kicks it out to Dominic Fairbanks. One-step dribble, that's good. Dominic Fairbanks has our opening points of the game. He had a big game versus Fertile Beltrami, and now Sacred Heart will have to handle the full court pressure applied by Cass Lake-Bena. Sam Gap on the near side. Josiah Sunby standing on the Ralph Engelstad Arena logo. Left wing, Kobe Tompkinson reverses up to the top. Right wing, Sam Gap uses a ball screen, now goes back the other way. He's tied up deep in the corner. He has to find some space. Now a double team comes, kicks it back out to Sunby. Top of the key, thought about the backdoor pass. Left wing, Tompkinson a couple dribbles. Back to Gap at the top of the key. Gap lines one up from downtown. Too strong off the heel. The rebound gets tipped out to Leroy Fairbanks, his first of the game. Cass Lake-Bena by 2, 1 minute into the game. Lynn Forrest Insurance Agency and Community Co-op's Energy Solutions scoreboard. No-look pass underneath. Layup was no good from Brown. Rebound bobbled around and hauled in by Landon Denny. That's what Caden Lee will do for you. The playmaker with eyes on the back of his head. Arntzen left corner for Sacred Heart. The Eagles, the Western subsection champions. Arntzen fell to a knee, kept it up. Now he's going to throw it away along the baseline for turnover number 1. Got it out of bounds and had a take on the baseline. He was underneath the hoop. Nobody was there in the corner, and the basketball to Cass Lake-Bena. Cass Lake-Bena had to beat the Fertile Beltrami Falcons in their semifinal game. They beat them in the regular season back in December by 10, 87-77. They got a big game from Dominic Fairbanks. 5 3-pointers. Right now, it's Leroy Fairbanks, right wing. Baseline dribble, spins back, uses a ball screen, puts it up from 14, off the front iron. Offensive rebound, hauled in by the aforementioned Dominic Fairbanks. Ball gets kicked out. Caden Lee, the sophomore, scored his 1,000th career point here in this tournament. Fairbanks, extra pass into the right corner. Brown tipped at the top of the key, and it's going to be turned over. Turnover number 1 for Cass Lake-Bena. Sacred Heart has numbers of 5-on-4. Sunby, Gap, extra pass. Arntzen from downtown. Short, no good over the top of the rim. Rebound underneath. Hauled in by Cass Lake-Bena's Trayvon Lee. So the Eagles get a good look at it, that time down the floor, and now they're going to call a carry on Caden Lee. Sacred Heart gets a good look down the floor. Extra pass in the corner, unable to get it to go from deep. And now the turnover on Cass Lake-Bena, their second, and basketball to the Sacred Heart Eagles. Arntzen to Kobe Tompkinson on the far side of the floor. Brings it across with the left hand, gives it back to Josiah Sunby, the sophomore. Calls out a play with his right hand in the air, finds Sam Gap creating a lead on the right wing. Looks to the top, nothing there, skips it back, left wing to Sunby. Looks it inside, feeds it to Landon Denny, turns around, off the window, and got it. Denny with his first 2 points of the game, ties it up at 2, 3 minutes in. Cass Lake-Bena basketball. Dominic Fairbanks on the near side wing, trying to use a ball screen, skips it back across to Trayvon Lee. A little trouble with it. Arntzen gives him some trouble as well. Out to Caden Lee, baseline, head fake, opening for a second. Off to Leroy Fairbanks at the top, puts it up and got it to go. Leroy Fairbanks, a 3-pointer. Now Cass Lake-Bena by 3, 5-2. Sunby to the middle of the floor to Gap, and a foul from behind will go on the Panthers, number 20. That's on Trayvon Lee. His first and the team's first, and that's our first foul of the game. Basketball will retain with the Sacred Heart Eagles. So everybody knows, anybody that plays Cass Lake-Bena, they got to handle their pressure. as they have a full court press on. Right now working in the half court. Tompkinson backdoor off glass. That's good, and a goaltend. Got to the rack was Kobe Tompkinson. It got hit after it hit the backboard, and Tompkinson has his first 2 points of the game. Nice pass. Good take as well. 5-4, Cass Lake-Bena by 1. Lynn Forest Insurance Agency and Community Co-op's Energy Solutions scoreboard. Leroy Fairbanks left corner. Skips it across to Dominic on the far side, right in front of the Sacred Heart bench. They play catch on another skip pass. Fairbanks underneath. Lee was open. Kobe Tompkinson comes help side, but a nice finish from Trayvon Lee. Goes with the power dribble, and it's Cass Lake-Bena by 3. Pass across to Sunby. Has to get it across the timeline. He does. Sunby pulls it back out. The 5'6" guard doesn't want to get on the inside. Goes to Arnson left wing. Denny at the right, rather gap now right wing. Uses the ball screen from Denny. Inside the painted area. Out to Tompkinson. Three-pointer. That's no good off the front. And the rebound brought in by Trayvon Lee, his second of the game for the Panthers. Long outlet. Dominic Fairbanks pulls up from 13. Too strong. Sunby brings it in. Now Sacred Heart will push and transition the other way. Sunby on the left wing, uses the ball screen from Denny. Right elbow back to Tompkinson at the top. Triple threat, jabs to the right, looks at the rim, goes that way, rejecting the screen. Pass tipped and out of bounds. Saved, but into the hands of Sunby. Dominic Fairbanks has to get back into the play. Gap inside, floater with the right hand. Too strong off the window, tipped out. Arnson runs it down in the far side corner. Back out to Sunby near the top of the key. Ethan Arnson, a lanky junior, bringing in his first rebound of the game. Now they set it up in the half court again. Denny pops out from the right elbow. They screen the opposite elbow. Gap. Sunby left wing. Action on the inside. Out to Tompkinson. They switch defensively. Pulls it back. Around and off on the shot from about 14. Lee brings in the rebound for Cass Lake-Bena. Caden Lee, a left-handed dribble. Leroy Fairbanks, right corner from downtown is good. Fairbanks with 6 assists from Caden Lee, and it's Cass Lake-Bena by 6, 10-4. 12.5 to go, half number 1. Trap comes far side. Off to Sunby, quickly brings it into the front court. Right wing, Tompkinson, he'll try to answer, he does. Big shot for Kobe Tompkinson with 5 of the 7 Sacred Heart points here in the first half, approaching the 12-minute mark. Winner to the state boys basketball tournament. Brown right corner, back out. Trayvon Lee to Caden Lee, jabs right, gets Gap off his platform, getting him an open 3. It was no good, goes into the far corner, wrestled away by Brown, and now we'll have a whistle and a tie-up, and it goes back to Sacred Heart. Brown, the rebound, got lost on the baseline. Eagle basketball, 11:57, half number 1. Cass Lake-Bena by 3, 10-7. Gap, no look pass on the near side to Arnson. Fakes baseline, back to Gap, has to come to it at half court. Bounce pass with the right hand. Arnson out to Sunby. Fairbanks closes out, and Sunby will set it back up. No, he'll put it up from downtown. The high arching 3, counted in the foul. Sunby thought he was slowing it down in the half court. He gets fouled on the three-pointer. He got it to go. The foul goes on Trayvon Lee. Quickly his second and the team's second. And Sunby at the Mustang Seeds free throw line for the 4-point play. Sunby, the lefty, puts it up and finishes. The 4-point play is good. 4 points for Sunby. Sacred Heart, their first lead of the game, 11-10, 11.5 to go in the first half. Sacred Heart fans now fired up. Fairbanks, left corner, that's Leroy. Baseline drive cut off by Tompkinson. Back out to Dominic. He'll pull it up from 12. That misses everything over the top. Rebound run down, saved. Sunby runs it down. It'll be a Cass Lake-Bena turnover after the rebound. Sunby, Tompkinson, right corner from way downtown. Nicks the front of the rim into the lap of Arnson. Sunby a head fake in the right corner. Sacred Heart basketball. Sunby tries to go downhill, loses it. Gap picks it up, leaves it off to Denny. Double team, puts it up, nothing there. Still loose. The rebound down to Cass Lake-Bena. And Brown was trying to clear some space, rather Trayvon Lee. I beg your pardon, trying to clear some space. And they're going to call a foul on Sacred Heart. That'll be their team's first, and it'll also be the first on Landon Denny. Into the game for the first time for Cass Lake-Bena will be Caden Uretha. 11-10, Sacred Heart by 1. The top seed from both the eastern and western halves of Section 8A, duking it out for a spot in the state boys basketball tournament beginning next Tuesday. Caden Lee baseline pull-up off the front, high bounce, and Denny skies in for the rebound. Good look for Caden Lee. He's yet to score tonight. Sacred Heart leads by 1, 11-10. Inside 11 minutes to go, first half. Josiah Sunby at the top of the key, the sophomore, leading this team as their point guard, and tells Arntzen to cut through. Bounce pass, Tompkinson on the right lane line, uses a ball screen with Denny. Head fake, back to the middle, gap, puts one up from deep. That's good. The senior Sam Gap with his first three, and now it's Sacred Heart by 4, 14-10. Leroy Fairbanks, who has a pair of threes, has it. Uretha left wing. Can he answer? Yes, he does. If that's an indication of how the rest of the night's going to go, we're going to have a high-scoring affair here in the championship game. 10 minutes to go in the first half. Sacred Heart 14, Cass Lake-Bena 13. Tompkinson to Sunby. Out past the left wing, calling for a ball screen, pulls it back, thought about the three. Left wing gap, fakes baseline, inside the painted area, floater, falling to his right, gets the roll. Big aggressive take from the senior Sam Gap. The 6'1 forward makes it a 3-point Sacred Heart lead, 16-13. Fairbanks to Lee. Way out there. We'll have a substitution on the next dead ball for Sacred Heart. Lee skips it across. Uretha, three-pointer. Too high, missed everything, but right into the hands of Leroy Fairbanks, waiting on the opposite side of the rim. 8 points, 2 rebounds for Fairbanks, and it's a 1-point game. Sacred Heart 16-15. Sunby uses a ball screen with Denny. Stumbles to Arntzen in the right corner. He got one from downtown. Ethan Arntzen. The 4th three-pointer of the game for Sacred Heart. 9 minutes to play. Uretha, Dominic Fairbanks skips it across to Leroy. Zips it underneath Uretha. Oh, nice pass. Shaping up in the middle. He couldn't get it to go. That was number 24, Darren Brown. He's going to commit a foul on the rebound, going for the offensive board. That's going to be his first and the team's third. And now the basketball to the Sacred Heart Eagles. A substitution will come on in. That's going to be number 2, the senior Isaac Zavarol, in for the first time tonight. Ethan Arntzen takes a seat. 8:50 to play, half number 1. Sacred Heart by 4, 19-15. Tompkinson from left to right. Cass Lake-Bena does not have their full court pressure on here. They're playing a straight-up man defense. Tompkinson uses the screen. Defender went under, but Tompkinson couldn't make him pay. Dominic Fairbanks down with rebound number 2. Right-handed pass out to Caden Lee. That one from deep is off the right side. Another rebound down to Tompkinson and Sacred Heart. Brings it across the timeline from left to right, looks to his right, hands off with Sam Gap. Panthers switch it defensively. Gap trying to get by Caden Lee, stays in front of him nicely. Denny, Gap at the top, takes his time, lines it up, not there. Fairbanks another rebound, his third, and we're going to get a timeout from Coach Alvin Wind and the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers. A 30-second timeout, we'll take it with them. Sacred Heart by 4, 19-15 in the section championship game.
JT's Station in Fertile carries a variety of items that are sure to meet your needs, and you should stop in today. They sell hot stuff foods, frozen foods, selected groceries, household products, and much more. The Hot Stuff Foods and Deli will provide you with a fresh, quick, and easy breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and they also offer some of the best car services in town. They're open 6 a.m. until 9:30 p.m. daily. It's JT's Station in Fertile.
19-15 our score. Lynn Forest Insurance Agency and Community Co-op's Energy Solutions scoreboard. It's Sacred Heart by 4. Coming out of the Foston A&W timeout from Coach Alvin Wind and the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers. It will be Panther basketball. Thanks for joining us tonight on 96.7 FM KKCQ. Happy Friday as well. Weekend is upon us. Spring has sprung. Get out and about on your nice weekend. Should be about mid-40s on Saturday and Sunday. But for right now, everyone inside Ralph Engelstead Arena here in Thief River Falls, the communities of Sacred Heart and Cass Lake-Bena. Panthers turn it over. They tried to get their offense started. It was turned over. Tompkinson the other way. Goes at Lee. He made it difficult. Denny the offensive rebound. He stepped on the baseline. Basketball back to Cass Lake-Bena. So for Cass Lake-Bena, they start their offense by getting a pass to the elbow to either Leroy Fairbanks. Cole Koss is into the game as well. For the Panthers, they need to create leads on the elbow. They'll try it here. And by creating a lead, I mean get open on your defender. Step into your defender, pop out hard. Caden Lee says to heck with that, but an offensive foul. Caden Lee, a good aggressive take on the inside. Sacred Heart takes it. It's going to be the first foul on Caden Lee, the team's fourth. And it's Sacred Heart by 4, 7:39 to play, half number 1, 19-15. Eagles have never been to the state boys basketball tournament. Sunby right wing, head fake with the left hand. Arnson at the top of the key. Zavral left wing uses the ball screen from Denny. That got him open. Scoop layup and a foul called. And Isaac Zavral to the Mustang Seeds free throw line. The foul is going to go on Cole Koss of Cass Lake-Bena. His first and the team's fifth with 7:24 remaining in the first half. Another substitution will come in for Sacred Heart here. Cullen Rourke will come in after this free throw. Zavral gets the first one to go. Sacred Heart starts 2 of 2. Mustang Seed is planting your future. Contact your local Mustang Seed sales rep. That's Marty Hoseth at Hoseth Sales and Service in Mahnomen. Call Marty at 218-261-0241. Second free throw for Zavral. He goes 2 of 2. 21-15, Sacred Heart by 6, 7:20 to go, half number 1. Section 8A Boys Basketball Championship game. Caden Lee at the top, left wing, Dominic Fairbanks. Cullen Rourke giving him everything he can handle as Fairbanks goes baseline. Pulls it back out to Caden Lee at the top of the key. Looks to the right, bounce pass right wing, Leroy Fairbanks. Dominic cuts through, so does Colt Koss. Goes to the top of the key to Uretha. Left corner, Lee, head fake. Jab to the right, baseline, 2-dribble pull-up, left it short, rebound down to Denny. So again, Caden Lee gets open, but unable to finish. Gap went behind his back and he turned it over. Turnover number 3. Can Cass Lake-Bena get an easy one? Leroy Fairbanks, it rolls in. 10 first half points for Leroy Fairbanks, assisted by Caden Lee. Now the lead cut to 4, 21-17. Zavral, far side, gives off to Sam Gap. Fairbanks on him, goes between his legs. Now he keeps coming out. Nicely done. Fairbanks forces the turnover. Turnover number 4 on Sacred Heart. Cass Lake-Bena coming out of that last Foston A&W timeout with a little more energy, you could say, forcing a couple of turnovers here. They cut it to 4, 21-17. Panther basketball. Dominic Fairbanks directing everything with his right hand. Goes to the left wing to Caden Lee. Looks inside, not there. Now he does. Backdoor to Dominic Fairbanks. Baseline on Sunby. Back to Lee at the top of the key. Nothing was there. Defensively, Rourke on Lee. Lee gets by down the right lane line. Scoop layup. No good. Too strong. Rebound comes down to Zavral and company of Sacred Heart. Sunby, right wing, trying to get by Dominic Fairbanks. Cannot. Pulls it back out. Tells Tompkinson to space out into the right corner. Sunby about 10 feet at the top of the key behind the three-point line. Right wing, Tompkinson uses a ball screen. Now he goes back the other way. Fairbanks stays with him defensively. Tompkinson baseline back to Zavral at the top. Tompkinson right corner. Panthers switch it. Caden Lee on him. Now on the left wing, Sunby uses the ball screen. Sunby at the free throw line. Back to Tompkinson at the top of the key. Zach Martin into the game. Tries to set a screen to get Tompkinson open. Inside a crowd. Up over the backboard and out of bounds. Last touch by the Panthers. As Tompkinson tried to work it to the inside. Caden Lee comes off for Cass Lake-Bena. And into the game for the Panthers is Kingsley Whitebird, a freshman. Ethan Arnson back in for Sacred Heart. Baseline out of bounds. Gap. Tompkinson will throw it in. Lob pass, sort of an errant pass. Defense slaps it out of bounds for Cass Lake-Bena. It was Uretha tipping it out. As now Sam Gap comes in. Kobe Tompkinson comes off. Another substitution in, the junior Landon Denny. He comes in for senior Zach Martin. And Gap will trigger it in on the far baseline. Goes to Sunby. Gets the play call from Coach Destry. Sturkle behind him. 5:15 to go, half number 1. Right wing, Sam Gap Pin down screen. Rourke at the top of the key gives it back to Sunby. Looking to the inside, not there. Now he's got to make a move. Uses the ball screen for Denny. Sunby pulls it out, trying to attack, loses it. Now he picks it up, has to find somebody, and he'll find Rourke at the top. Back to Sunby. Little sloppy here in the half court from Sacred Heart, and now the Cass Lake-Bena fans giving their defense a nice hand. Denny at the top, right wing gap. Little shifty at the free throw line. Back out. Into the corner, Sunby. Head fake on the right side and dribbles it back out. Way past the three-point arc, now at the top of the key. Cass Lake-Bena just pushing Sacred Heart out with their extended defense. Sitting down in a stance, making it tough. Arntzen baseline drive. Nice aggressive take and a finish. Ethan Arntzen with 5 points, getting downhill, 23-17. Sacred Heart by 6. Uretha at the top for Cass Lake-Bena. Cullen Rourke stays with him. Right mid-post area, Leroy Fairbanks has the size advantage. Skips it into the left corner, Uretha back to Leroy Fairbanks. Now Dominic Fairbanks at the top. Orange in hand. Fairbanks calling for a teammate to come up. Hands it off with Uretha. 4 minutes to go, half number 1. Sacred Heart 23, Cass Lake-Bena 17. Flare screen to Uretha. Pin down for Fairbanks. Nice action. They can't take advantage. Open look. Sam Gap the rebound. Josiah Sunby jogs it back across the 10-second line. Tompkinson will come in on the next dead ball for Sacred Heart. Baseline, gap, three-pointer, fading away a little bit. It was short. Rebound now underneath. A foul on the rebound. Cole Koss and Landon Denny got tied up. The foul is going to go on Denny, his second, and only the team's second in the first half. 3:37 to go, half number 1. Sacred Heart by 6. Kobe Tompkinson back into the game. Zach Martin in as well for Sacred Heart, and now in for the first time tonight for Cass Lake-Bena, junior number 5, Aiden White. Broadcasting from our Bid It On Auctions broadcast booth on 96.7 FM, KKCQ, streaming on yourliveevent.com. and also on Garden Valley channel number 37. Dominic Fairbanks, right wing, uses the ball screen with Cole Koss. Patience, White left wing, gives it off to Kingsley Whitebird, and a moving screen. An offensive foul is going to be called on Cass Lake-Bena. Extending his arm for the Panthers, the foul on number 11. Kingsley Whitebird, his first, the team's 6th. One more, and Sacred Heart in the bonus for the remainder of the first half. 3:20 to go in the first half. Eagles by 6, 23-17. Left wing Arntzen, they weave at the top. Tompkinson, gap, trying to get downhill, uses a screen. Thought about the jumper, back to Tompkinson. Nice pass now into the left corner, Sunby. Pulls it out with the right hand, uses the ball screen. Right wing, Ethan Arntzen crosses over. Arntzen inside, sliding, gap, skips it back to Sunby, right wing. White staying on him. Screen deep into the right corner. Oh, nice bounce pass around the defense and one. The bounce pass down to Zach Martin on the screen and roll. Sunby the assist. The foul on Cass Lake-Bena, their 7th. And the second on Cole Koss. Back into the game for Cass Lake-Bena will be Trayvon Lee. That basket set up from the screen from Zach Martin. The free throw is good. 3 points for Martin. Sacred Heart 4 of 4. Rule of thumb on those ball screens, the better screen you set, the more likely you're going to be open. Martin took advantage. Nice pass from Sunby. Cole Koss tries to answer at the left elbow. Doesn't. Gap the rebound, his second. Sacred Heart by 9, 2:30 remaining, half number 1. 26-17. Sunby slows it down, gets the play call from head coach Destry Sturkle. Top of the key, Martin. Josiah Sunby left wing, fakes the pass up. Tompkinson top of the key, three-pointer off the heel, long rebound. Aiden White runs it down for Cass Lake-Bena, his first rebound of the game. Dominic Fairbanks inside, had it poked away by Sunby. Nice defense, turnover number 5 for Cass Lake-Bena. Fairbanks still down, 5-on-4 advantage for the Eagles. Can they find the open man? They do. Arntzen puts it up off the front, rebound to Cass Lake-Bena. No, it was Martin the rebound. He got blocked from behind. A loose ball to Tompkinson, and they're going to call a foul on Cass Lake-Bena, and it's going to be the team's 8th, and Kobe Tompkinson to the line for the 1-and-1. The foul on Cass Lake-Bena on Dominic Fairbanks, his first, the team's 8th. Tompkinson at the line for the bonus. Substitutions in for Cass Lake-Bena. Leroy Fairbanks, Caden Lee, and Darren Brown. 1-1 for the senior Kobe Tompkinson. 5 points in the game. Can extend the lead to double figures with one made free throw here. Has to get the first to earn a second. Landon Denny comes back in. He comes in for Josiah Sunby for Sacred Heart. So a little bit more size in this lineup for the Eagles. Tompkinson gets it from the ref, puts it up immediately and puts it in. The free throw's good. Sacred Heart starts 5 of 5 from the Mustang Seeds free throw line in the first half. Sunby checks back into the game for the Eagles as Denny comes off. A little change up in the lineup there for Coach Sturkle. Tompkinson, 2 of 2. 7 points for Kobe Tompkinson. That leads the Eagles in scoring. Leroy Fairbanks, the game high with 10. Sacred Heart by 11, 28-17. Caden Lee, left baseline to the top of the key with the left hand. From the very top, it's no good. Rebound tipped out. Arntzen runs it down. The three-pointer was no good from Darren Brown for Cass Lake-Bena. 90 seconds to go, half number 1. Eagles by 11. Left wing, Arntzen jabs inside. Arntzen off glass, no good. Rebound underneath, blocked. Martin had it. Gap at the top. This one from deep, off the front of the rim. White the rebound. Multiple opportunities for Sacred Heart on that possession. Can't get either one to go. Caden Lee shakes Sam Gap, but he can't get that one to fall. That was a three-pointer. Gap the rebound. His third. Outlet to Kobe Tompkinson on the near side. 1 minute to play, half number 1. This is a big possession for Sacred Heart. Arntzen inside, picks up his dribble, loses it, and a reach and foul called on Caden Lee and Cass Lake-Bena. The foul on Lee now, his second, and the team's 9th. And Ethan Arntzen at the Mustang Seats free throw line for Sacred Heart. They're 6 of 6. Arntzen makes it 7 of 7. 6 points for Arntzen. Cullen Rourke back in for the Eagles, and it's Sacred Heart by 12 with 52 seconds to go in the first half. Another free throw for Arntzen. Perfect. Sacred Heart starts 8 of 8 from the line. Cass Lake-Bena yet to shoot free throws. 45 seconds, half number 1. 30-17, Sacred Heart by 13. Handoff on the near side with Trayvon Lee. Aiden White now the top, they weave. Caden Lee trying to get downhill, pulls it back out. Another handoff, Lee at the free throw line, jumper on the way. That's short as it nicks the front of the rim. Rourke was in his face, now 28 seconds to go. Rourke to Tompkinson, to Zach Martin at the top, immediately looks to the left. Gap, free throw line behind his back, and Caden Lee picked his pocket. He'll go the other way on the fast break, finishes for 2. Nice steal from Caden Lee. Turnover number 5. Those are his first points of the game. 10 seconds to go, half number 1. Now down to 5. Gap has it. Ahead of steam downhill. Tompkinson with 2. Now 1. Head fake. Puts it up at the horn. Short and out of bounds. And the score on the Lynn Forest Insurance Agency and Community Co-op's Energy Solutions scoreboard. After one half of play from the Section 8A Boys Basketball Championship game. Sacred Heart by 11, 30-19. Your Lynn Forest Insurance Agency halftime report coming up next on KKCQ, yourliveevent.com, and Garden Valley Channel 37.
The Leech Lake Education Department reminds families of the opportunities with early childhood, child care, Head Start, and child care scholarships. There are several classrooms throughout Leech Lake for early childhood. Learn more about these educational opportunities for your child by contacting the Leech Lake Education Department's Early Childhood Development, 218-335-8345.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Linfors, your insurance source. Visit Linfors Agency with locations in Boston, Bagley, Clearbrook, Monoman, and Ada.
I'm the first kid in my family to have graduated from college. And then at NDSCS, they told me, hey, look, you can get credits for this, you can go further. So I start to see like my horizon broaden up. I'm going to be pretty unstoppable. My name is Julie, and I'm here for my future.
You couldn't pick a better community to be a part of. I've actually been to another college, and this one was a far better experience because of the support of the faculty and the staff here. It's just outstanding. My name is Andrew, and I'm here for my future.
Live, work, and play in Norman County. The Norman County EDA wants to help you explore all that Norman County offers you. Visit the website discovernormancounty.com. Norman County offers new business opportunities, along with homes you can afford and community that cares, plus schools with small class sizes offering great education. In Norman County, you can enjoy outdoor recreation from hunting and fishing to trails and cross-country hiking. Find out what Norman County has for you at discovernormancounty.com. The Norman County EDA welcoming you to live, work, and play in Norman County.
Genuine starts here. There's one easy way to keep your AGCO equipment productive all year with genuine preventative maintenance from AGCO Parts. When you check, change, and replace using AGCO Parts preventative maintenance products, you get the promise of maximum performance and increased uptime. Visit Norman County Implement, Highway 9 North Ada, to see our full selection of preventative maintenance parts products, or give us a call at 784-2961 to place an order today.
Since 1981, Park Christian School has been educating the next generation of leaders in the Fargo, Moorhead, and West Fargo area. Park Christian's thoroughly Christian education and commitment to academic excellence has resulted in a confident tradition of student success. Students graduate from Park Christian School strong in their faith and well prepared for the rigors of college, career, and relationships. Call 218-236-0500 to schedule your visit or go online to parkchristianschool.org.
Welcome inside the halftime report here tonight, being brought to you by the Linfors Insurance Agency, office locations in Boston, Bagley, Clearbrook, Monoman, Ada. Serving the area, Linfors, your insurance source. It's Sacred Heart by 11, 30-19. That's the score on the Linfors Insurance Agency and the Community Co-op's Energy Solutions scoreboard. And Sacred Heart, they've been aggressive on the offensive end. They're 8 of 8 from our Mustang Seeds free throw line, and they got a 4-point play from Josiah Sunby, who has 4 points in the game. They have 7 different scorers for their group, led by Kobe Tompkinson and Ethan Arntzen, both with 7 points. On the other side for Cass Lake-Bena, 5 players scoring, led by Leroy Fairbanks, who started out hot with 10 points, 2 rebounds. A little quieter in the latter half of that first half, but right now Sacred Heart by 11, 30-19. Coach Alvin Wind in our pregame coaches interviews talking about last year in the championship game against Badger Greenbush Middle River. Straight up said, we didn't play very good, and they lost that game to the Gators as the Gators moved on to the state tournament. The score in that one, 55-48, a low-scoring affair. As we said, Sacred Heart trying to get to the state boys basketball tournament for the first time in program history as they come back out onto the floor, warming up for the second half. And then also for the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers trying to get back to the state tournament for the first time since 2018. Some other scores from around some other sections in AA, DGF and Perham tied at 22 at halftime. That's Section 8 AA between DGF and Perham. That game can be heard over on 106.5 FM KRJB. But right here inside Ralph Engelstad Arena here in Thief River Falls, it's Sacred Heart by 11, 30-19. Let's run down some first half statistics here, and then we'll take a break and get you ready for half number 2. But we'll start with the Sacred Heart Eagles, led in scoring, as we said, by Ethan Arntzen with 7 points and 3 rebounds, and Kobe Tompkinson with 7 points and a rebound. 4 points for Josiah Sunby, also aboard for him. Sam Gapp with 5 points, 3 rebounds. 3 points for Zach Martin and 1 rebound. And 2 points for both Landon Denny and Isaac Zavarol. Denny 3 rebounds, Zavarol with 1 rebound. Cass Lake-Bena led in scoring. Leroy Fairbanks a game high with 10 points, the only player in double figures. And then Caden Uretha has 3 points and 2 points for Caden Lee, Dominic Fairbanks, and Trayvon Lee. Turnover numbers, both teams with 5. And then for Sacred Heart, they're 8 of 8 from our Mustang Seeds free throw line for 100%. And some other action again as we get scores coming in. Belgrade Bruton El Rosa leads New York Mills by 1, 37-36 at the half. That's in Section 6A. That game over on Gold 101.5 FM KRJM. And also on yourliveevent.com. Kevin Kochman on the call there. Across our R&J Broadcasting Incorporated family of stations. Thanks for being with us tonight. This game here on KKCQ, yourliveevent.com as well. And also on Garden Valley Channel 37, welcoming in all audiences across all platforms as it's 30-19. Sacred Heart by 11 at the half. We just gave you a rundown of our first half statistics brought to you by Christian Motors in Fertile. For the best selection in new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs, stop by Christian Motors, your Chevy and GMC dealer in Fertile, with one of the best selections around and the most competitive prices. It's worth your time to stop and visit the guys and let them put you in a new vehicle. Check out the selection online at ChristianMotors.com. Proud to be your Chevy and GMC dealer. It's Christian Motors in Fertile. Couple minutes to go here in the halftime report. We'll take another break. Get you ready for half number 2. When we come back, Sacred Heart by 11. It's 30-19.
Make the right choice with Right Choice Electric of Grand Forks. Serving the Grand Forks area and northwestern Minnesota, Right Choice Electric of Grand Forks specializing in residential, commercial, and industrial, along with agricultural and emergency electric services, and is a thermal imaging specialist. Make the right choice with Right Choice Electric of Grand Forks, 701-775-7114, or visit rightchoiceelectric.com. That's rightchoiceelectric.com. R.J. Zavarol & Sons provides earth moving and construction to customers in the Red River Valley using proven practices and innovative technology together with hardworking, dependable employees and satisfied customers. Family values have always been the core of our business. Visit rjzavarol.com for more information on the services they provide and click career opportunities. Learn more about joining our team. 218-773-0586 and rjzavarol.com.
Inside the Lynn Forest Insurance halftime report, just finishing up. Lynn Forest Insurance, office locations in Fosston, Bagley, Clearbrook, Mahnomen, Ada, serving the area. Lynn Forest, your insurance source. Sacred Heart by 11, 30-19 on our scoreboard here tonight. And talking about some second half keys for Cass Lake-Bena. We said it at the beginning of the game. Get some early shots to go down and gain some confidence, but I think even more so, try and get to the rim a little bit more. Get downhill, more than athletic to get on the inside, and maybe relying on the outside shot just a little bit too much. There's only 2 fouls. Well, there was only 2 fouls in the first half from Sacred Heart. Sacred Heart drew 9 fouls on Cass Lake-Bena, and that was obviously an advantage. They were 100% from the free throw line in the first half, 8 of 8. Cass Lake-Bena will start with the ball to begin half number 2. 18 minutes away from crowning the champion of Section 8A in boys basketball, the winner to the state tournament beginning next Tuesday. Left elbow Leroy Fairbanks, faces up. Dominic Fairbanks inside, got the pass from Leroy. Dominic with 4 points. The lead is 9, 30-21. A quick bucket for Cass Lake-Bena. And that's what we're talking about. An easy layup as Sunby to the inside now amongst the trees. Tries to kick it out. He threw it away. Turnover number 6. 2-on-1. Defense comes back. Caden Lee flies through the air and finishes. Caden Lee on the right side. Adjusts. Finishes on the left. And already quickly it's back to 7. And now Lee a steal on Tompkinson. And it's 5. Caden Lee with 6. 30-25. Sacred Heart a little too cavalier with the basketball to start the second half. Sunby on the Ralph Engelstad Arena logo with the orange in hand. Pivoting around, Sam Gap left side. 1 minute into half number 2. It's a 6-0 run for Cass Lake-Bena, cutting the lead to 5. Iverson screen across. Sunby inside. Tompkinson up. He got blocked. It went out of bounds. Last touch by Tompkinson. Cass Lake-Bena basketball. 30-25. 3 turnovers in the second half already. Top of the key for the Panthers is Lee. Gives it back to Caden Lee. Pulls it back out. Bounce pass with the right hand was tipped. Found Darren Brown. Handoff with Dominic Fairbanks. Josiah Sunby on him defensively. Into the left corner, Trayvon Lee. Works it back to the top. Pitches it back to Caden Lee. Even closer to half court. Holds 3 fingers in the air. That's the play call. Starts it right side. Dominic Fairbanks. Right corner. Brown feeds it inside. Back out to Brown to make it a 2-point game. No good. Rebound far corner will be run down but out of bounds. And it goes back to Sacred Heart. So almost 2 minutes into half number 2. 16:07 on the scoreboard. It was 30-19 at the half. A 6-0 run currently for Cass Lake-Bena. It's 30-25. Sacred Heart basketball yet to score in the half. Sunby across half court as we see it from right to left from our Bid It On Auctions broadcast booth. Bounce pass to Tompkinson. Lee on him defensively. Uses a ball screen. Baseline drive. Out to Denny. Tompkinson. Gap. Lines up a 3. No good. Rebound. Run down by Sunby. Lee had it. Sunby went underneath. Here's a kick out. Right wing. Sunby for 3. Gap. Another offensive rebound. Ball is loose along the baseline and gets Cass Lake-Bena basketball. Turnover number 4. 4 turnovers already for Sacred Heart, and now a foul on Sam Gap reaching in. His first and the team's first of the half. And it's Panther ball, a sideline out of bounds, and Coach Destry Sturkle wants an explanation, a quick chat with the official. And now the Panthers trying to cut it even further. A 6-0 run to start half number 2. It's 30-25. Fairbanks was open for a moment on the back door. Would have been a tough pass. Caden Lee at the top of the key. And now a 5-second call on Caden Lee at the top. Didn't make a move toward the basket. Letting the offense flow and work. And it's turnover number 6 of the game for Cass Lake-Bena. So an unforced turnover for the Panthers gives the basketball back to Sacred Heart. Sam Gap out by the 25-foot mark. Works it back to Josiah Sunby, the sophomore. Dominic Fairbanks on him defensively, a little more active on the defensive end. A pass back to Denny went through his hands, but Gap runs it down. Bigger floor gave him a little more time to get the loose ball. Gap down the left lane line. Defense cuts him off. Sunby. Denny at the top. Tompkinson right wing. A head fake. Defender went under the screen, didn't put it up. Arnson left wing. Gets downhill, bumped by Fairbanks. Now he reverses his field back out, and Fairbanks tips it away, last touched from Cass Lake-Bena. So both these teams, the number 1 seeds on their respected side of the section. Sacred Heart on the western half, Cass Lake-Bena on the eastern half. Gap the baseline out of bounds into Tompkinson. Last touched and out of bounds by Cass Lake-Bena. To the dismay of Panther fans, Boo Birds come out, but it stays with Sacred Heart. Josiah Sunby at the top, getting inside, spinning back, uses the screen. Tompkinson, Sunby left corner, fakes baseline. Dominic Fairbanks stays with him. Tompkinson way passed out. The 3-point line, Denny at the top, left wing, Arnson. Now to the free throw line. Tompkinson, left hand. Sunby now to the top, trying to get something downhill on the inside. Arnson, baseline, cut off, double team, up over the defense and in. Nice ball fake from Ethan Arnson, taking his time, found some space, 32-25. First points of the half for Sacred Heart. They lead by 7. Dominic Fairbanks near the top of the key, gives it back to Caden Lee. Looks inside, the sophomore. Sam Gap on him defensively, pulls it back out near half court, across the court to Dominic Fairbanks, baseline drive, Tompkinson cuts him off, and a foul's gonna go on Tompkinson, a blocking foul. That's his first, the team's second. Now Dominic Fairbanks to the line for a pair. These are the first free throws of the night for Cass Lake-Bena, coming 13:40 remaining in the second half. Dominic Fairbanks, 4 points in the game, 3 rebounds. Couple dribbles of the basketball, bends the knees, puts it up, in and out. Rolled off the left side and then rolled around and back off the right. Fairbanks will get a second, 19 points versus Fertile Beltrami in the semifinal. Second one is good. Dominic Fairbanks, 5 points in the game, and now we're going to get a timeout called as Cass Lake-Bena trails 32-26. A 30-second timeout. Back after this from Ralph Engelstad Arena.
Racing action is back this summer at Red River Valley Speedway and Norman County Raceway, featuring IMCA modified, sprint cars, stock cars, sport mods, hobby stocks, legends, and more all summer long. Family friendly and affordable racing. Stay tuned to ncraceway.com and redrivervalleyspeedway.com for more information. Racing Thursday and Friday nights returns this summer to Norman County Raceway and Red River Valley Speedway.
Half number 2, Sacred Heart by 6 points, 32-26. Lynn Forrest Insurance and Community Co-op's Energy Solutions scoreboard. Sacred Heart basketball. Cass Lake-Bena coming out of the Foston A&W timeout. Ethan Arntzen on the near side. From right to left, gives it back to Josiah Sundby, the sophomore guard. Getting the offenses started. Tipped into the backcourt, nearly turned over. Arntzen now back across, driving in, pulls it back, thought about a 3. Goes to Sam Gap, right wing. Triple threat, uses a ball screen from Denny. Slows it down, little hesitation. Inside, nice finish from Sam Gap. Put some English on it as he was underneath the hoop. Used his right hand. 34-26, Sacred Heart now by 8. They led by 11 at the intermission. Left elbow, Leroy Fairbanks. Hands off with Dominic. At the top, thought about the 3. Leroy now left wing. Faces up, Tompkinson on him. Fairbanks puts it up from 3 and puts it in. Tompkinson had his hand down. Fairbanks took advantage. Now it's cut to 5, 34-29. Sacred Heart leads. Sundby being hassled by Dominic Fairbanks. To Sam Gap on the near side, using a ball screen from Denny. Between his legs at the top, now goes back again, spinning out to Arntzen. Right corner, inside the painted area, bumped by Fairbanks, spinning around, ball is loose, Gap picks it up, and on the floor, falling around for Cass Lake-Bena was Trayvon Lee. They're going to call him for a foul. That'll be the 3rd on Trayvon Lee, the team's first, and I think the foul is going to go as Lee was sliding around, sort of ran into the legs of Gap. As that's his 3rd foul, the team's first of the half, and a turnover from Sacred Heart. Caden Lee the other way, mishandles it, has to pull it back out. Crosses over left to right. Oh, nice pass, shaping up as he got inside, and they're going to call a foul on Sacred Heart. As Darren Brown is going to go to the Mustang Seats free throw line for 2. Sam Gap, his 2nd, the team's 3rd. Caden Lee had his option of, once he got inside, could kick it to the corner or try the pass to Darren Brown, shaping up around the restricted circle. The free throw from Brown is no good, though, however. And he'll get a 2nd. Sacred Heart by 5, 34-29, 12:08 to go in the game. Winner to the State Boys Basketball Tournament next Tuesday. Brown gets the 2nd free throw, his first points of the game. Lead is now only 4 for Sacred Heart, 34-30. An 11-4 run for Cass Lake-Bena to start the second half. Sundby to Gap. Left corner now, Sundby again. Has it left wing, uses the ball screen from Landon Denny. Uses another one on the baseline. Fairbanks recovers again, kicks it far corner. Tompkinson puts it up and in. Tompkinson for 3, gets it to go. The first player in double figures for Sacred Heart. Fairbanks the answer, not there. Offensive rebound though for Trayvon Lee. 37-30, Sacred Heart in front. Caden Lee has it out by half court. Cass Lake-Bena trying to set something up in the half court offensively. Fairbanks back out to Brown. Into the right corner to Trayvon Lee, back to Caden Lee. Gets downhill with the left hand, hop step, tough finish. Lee with 8 around the defender, 37-32, going back and forth, but Sacred Heart holding on by 5. 11 minutes to go in the game. Sam Gap left wing. Elevator screen for Tompkinson at the top. Fairbanks helps it. Right wing, Sunby. Cass Lake-Bena switching everything defensively as they come together defending the ball screens. Here's another one. Sunby. Caden Lee stays with them that time. They want to keep the size on Denny. Baseline drive, Sam Gap spins back toward the middle, lost it out of bounds. He touched it last. Turnover number 6 of the half on Sacred Heart. 10:40 to go in the game. Sacred Heart by 5, 37-32. That's the score on the Lynn Forest Insurance and Community Co-op's Energy Solutions scoreboard. Panther basketball. Dominic Fairbanks brings it back across the timeline. Looks to the left. Sends Darren Brown on the baseline to the corner. Gives it to Caden Lee. Couple screens on the near side. Dominic Fairbanks, right wing, between his legs. Step back is good. Dominic Fairbanks with 8. 37-35. Sacred Heart by 2. Landon Denny at the top of the key. Arnson left wing. At the free throw line. Down the lane line. And a reach and foul is going to go on Cass Lake-Bena. The foul on the Panthers will be their second of the half. And now the first on Leroy Fairbanks. 10:07 to go. Sacred Heart by 2, 37-35. Gap has to inbound, gets it out to Denny. Hands it back off to Tompkinson. Sacred Heart in front of their own bench. Tompkinson to Sunby. They switch it on defense. Another ball screen. He uses it. Gap left wing. Head fake. Wanted to get to the middle. Not there. Back to Sunby at the top. Inside. Off glass and good. He threw it over the top of his head. Sunby, the smaller player, has to get crafty with it. Puts it off the window. Sacred Heart by 4, 39-35, 9:35 to play. Dominic Fairbanks inside the left elbow. Caden Lee on the left wing. Gap stays with him. Now he gets him off his feet. Lee from deep rattles it home. That's probably the third or fourth time we've seen Caden Lee shake Sam Gap on defense. The lead back to 1, 39-38, Sacred Heart. Sunby picks it up. Bounce pass to Landon Denny in the middle. Ethan Arnson at the 25-foot line. Arnson at the top. Down the lane line. Corner. Sunby puts it up for 3. In and out, no good. Rebound down to Cass Lake-Bena. We'll get a tie-up and a jump ball. It'll stay with Sacred Heart. It was Denny getting tied up with Trayvon Lee. Back into the game for Sacred Heart is Isaac Zavrall, and we're going to get a timeout, a full timeout from Coach Destry Sturkle and the Eagles. They once led by 11, 30-19 at the half, now by 1, 39-38. Back after this from Ralph Finkelstead Arena.
The Rough Grouse Roadhouse is located just east of Island Lake, across from Mershman's Taxidermy. The Roadhouse invites you to stop in before or after the game to eat or just come in and socialize with family and friends. They also have weekly food specials. Just go to their Facebook page and see what their special of the day is, or call 668-2111. Supporting the area students in the classroom as well as in all their extracurricular activities. The Rough Grouse Roadhouse, 5 miles south of Langby on County Road 4.
The Leech Lake Education Department reminds families of the opportunities with early childhood, child care, Head Start, and child care scholarships. There are several classrooms throughout Leech Lake for early childhood. Learn more about these educational opportunities for your child by contacting the Leech Lake Education Department's Early Childhood Development, 218-335-8345.
Inside 9 minutes to go in the game. Sacred Heart by 1, 39-38. They've got the basketball. We just came out of a Foston A&W timeout from Coach Destry Sturkle. Sam Gap has it in hand. Back across to Tompkinson. Cass Lake-Bena has been ultra aggressive on the defensive end. They forced 6 turnovers in this half. Sunby in front of his own bench. All the way around the arc, a lot of dribbling. Tries to hand it back off. Has to find somebody in the left corner, Sam Gap. Zavrall near the top of the key. Hand off Tompkinson. Panthers switch it on defense again. Skip back near side Gap. Ball screen with Landon Denny. Double team, nice defense. Zavarol right corner, puts it up from 14, had it deflected. Caden Lee the rebound for Cass Lake-Bena, his second. Panthers can take the lead on this possession. Lee, top of the key, around Gap, inside, whistle and a foul. He'll go to the line. The foul is going to go on Sacred Heart. That's on Sam Gap, his third. The team's fourth. We said it at the half. Cass Lake-Bena needs to be a little bit more aggressive on the offensive end. They've shot only 4 free throws in the half and in the game. Lee, the free throw for the tie is good. Cass Lake-Bena, 3 of 5 from the Mustang Seeds free throw line here in the half. Caden Lee, 12 points in the game, 10 of those coming in this half. Second one, Cass Lake-Bena leads it. 13 points for Caden Lee. Cass Lake-Bena 40, Sacred Heart 39. Arntzen crosses over near the top. Back to Sam Gap. Tompkinson around the arc. Tried to go back door to Landon Denny now at the top. Back to Tompkinson. Steps it back. This is a long two. He was a little off balance. Couldn't finish. Foul on the rebound is going to go on Denny. Landon Denny tried to get it over the back. And that's what the foul is going to be, his third. The team's fifth of the half. 7:42 remaining. Cass Lake-Bena by 1, 40-39. Caden Lee will jog it back across the timeline. Left elbow, Leroy Fairbanks, rather Brown, flare screen to Caden Lee. Now he uses a ball screen, he got 2 of them. Trying to get inside, hop step, up, good. Split the defense with the hop step was Caden Lee, and now the Panthers lead by 3, 42-39. Zavarol gets it across, a collision. Tompkinson picks up the loose ball. 5-on-4, out to Arntzen, a head fake, a three-pointer for the tie. No good, around and off, tipped up in the air and brought in by Darren Brown, his second rebound of the night. Fairbanks puts it up from deep, puts it in! Fairbanks the three-pointer, and they're going to call a foul on Cass Lake-Bena on the rebound. The basket is good. The second three-pointer on Dominic Fairbanks. The foul on Cass Lake-Bena. The foul on the Panthers will be their third, and the second on Darren Brown. Josiah Sunby back into the game as Zavarol comes off. Sacred Heart led by 11 at the half. They've only scored 9 points in the second half. 45-39. Arntzen trying to put a stop to that. Inside, double team and a foul. A reach-in foul on Cass Lake-Bena. Who's that one going to go on? That's going to go on Leroy Fairbanks, his second, the team's fourth. Baseline out of bounds. Gap has to bring it in. Lobs it into Tompkinson. Hands it off with Gap, right wing. Defense switches. Ball screen. Tompkinson at the top. 6:40 remaining. Tompkinson. This one from way deep. That's good. 13 points for Tompkinson. The lead back to 3, but it's Cass Lake-Bena's advantage, 45-42. 6:25 to go. Flare screen far side. Can Lee answer? You betcha. Caden Lee with 18. The defense went under the screen when they should have went over and chased the shooter. And it's Cass Lake-Bena now by 6, 48-42. Sunby being hassled by Dominic Fairbanks with only one foul. Left wing to Tompkinson. Reverse pivot through. Ball screen. He'll try to answer with one of his own. No good. Gap the offensive rebound. Inside. A whistle and a foul. Gap got the offensive board to get the extra possession for Sacred Heart. A foul on Cass Lake-Bena will be the team's 5th of the half. And it's a blocking foul on Trayvon Lee. So for Lee, that's going to be his 4th. And they said it was in the act of shooting, so Sam Gap will be at the Mustang Seats free throw line for 2. First one for Gap on the way and in. 8 points. First free throws of the second half for Gap. Gets them both. 9 points for Sam Gap. Sacred Heart, 10 of 10 from the free throw line. Cass Lake-Bena by 4, 48-44, 5:45 to go. Right elbow Fairbanks. Flare screen far side. Gap chases it this time. Lee had it deflected. Rebound to Leroy Fairbanks on the inside. Goes at Tompkinson. Layup is good. 15 points for Leroy Fairbanks. And it's Cass Lake-Bena now by 6, 50-44. Sunby spinning back to the top. Martin, gap right wing, uses the ball screen in the painted area. Floater rolls around, doesn't go in. Martin fighting underneath, tries to put it up, and another foul, and Martin to the line for 2. Foul on Cass Lake-Bena on Caden Lee. His 3rd, the team's 6th, and 2 free throws coming for Martin. Sacred Heart, perfect from the free throw line, 10 of 10. Can they keep it up? They do for the moment at 11 of 11. 4 points off the bench for Zach Martin. Caden Uretha into the game for Cass Lake-Bena. A second free throw coming for the senior, Zach Martin. In and out. The free throw streak comes to an end. Fairbanks with rebound number 4 and a full timeout from Alvin Lind and Cass Lake-Bena. Will the Panthers get back to the state tournament for the first time since 2018? Will Sacred Heart come back into it and get to the tournament for the first time ever? 5 minutes left here from Thief River Falls.
Steer Builders of Holly is a residential construction company specializing in framing and new single-family homes. Jared and the team at Steer Builders will work with you on the home you're building or post-frame buildings like shops, barns, garages, and more. Steer Builders is also hiring framers. Must be 18 and experience is not required but a plus. Contact Steer Builders at 701-261-7798 for any questions regarding hiring, homes, or new post-frame buildings. Steer Builders of Holly, 701-261-7798. As you view your lawn and yard, Todd's Landscaping takes your ideas to bring out the beauty of your home. Pavers, walkways, brick, rock, landscaping, lighting, flowers, patios, decks, yard water fountains, and irrigation. The ideas are your ideas. Call Todd's Landscaping to discuss your options and let them bring landscaping beauty to your home. Todd's Landscaping, 218-945-6000.
Sacred Heart led at the half by 11, 30-19. Now they trail by 5 with 5 minutes remaining, 50-45. Uretha. Skip across to Leroy Fairbanks. Sacred Heart trying to get some stops and scores. Fairbanks, right corner, 4:45 now remaining. Back to Fairbanks. Top of the key, crosses over on Sunby, inside, back to Caden Lee, baseline, a spin, puts it up, and can't get it to go as it bounced off the rim. Tompkinson, the rebound, his second for Sacred Heart. Sam Gap on the near side, back to the middle of the floor. Left side, Arntzen, little trouble handling it. Now goes baseline, but Caden Lee picked his pocket and a foul. The foul is gonna go on Arntzen. His first, the team's 6th. That's turnover number 7 for Sacred Heart this half. Their 12th of the game. One more foul from either team puts the other in the penalty. 4:15 remaining, Cass Lake-Bena 50, Sacred Heart 45. Leroy Fairbanks far side and another Panther timeout. How long will that one be? It'll be a full timeout. 4:13 remaining, Cass Lake-Bena 50, Sacred Heart 45.
Solutions, Hitterdall, Minnesota.
Let's get real. You're ready for a place that's big enough to grow and small enough to care. So get ready for the University of Minnesota Crookston. With more than 30 majors, minors, and certificates, you'll earn a University of Minnesota degree in a close-knit community where faculty become friends and friends feel like family. And to get a degree that can make a difference, you don't need a big city, just big dreams. The University of Minnesota Crookston. Real, hands-on, ready.
4:13 to go in the game. Cass Lake-Bena by 5, 50-45. Can Sacred Heart get a stop on the defensive end and convert the other way? 4:10 to go. Elevator screen behind the back pass from Caden Lee. It goes out of bounds. So that's one of those instances that Coach Alvin Wynn told us after their semifinal game, where Caden Lee tried 2 dunks in that last game, missed them both. Not sure if he needed the behind-the-back pass. Unforced turnover. Now inside to Tompkinson, and one! Sacred Heart takes advantage. Tompkinson the finish, and now to the line for the three-point play. Tompkinson can cut it to 2. Landon Denny will come up off the bench for Sacred Heart. He comes in for Zach Martin. 3:53 remaining. Sacred Heart has only missed 1 free throw on the night. They're 11 of 12. Tompkinson now 12 of 13. It's a 1-point game. Rather 2 points, I beg your pardon. Cass Lake-Bena 50, Sacred Heart 48. Dominic Fairbanks at the top of the key to Caden Lee. Right lane line, looks inside, jabs right, gets by Gap, help defense is there. Back out to Fairbanks, feeds it in the mid-post area to Leroy Fairbanks. Tompkinson on him, Fairbanks to the middle, Uretha, corner 3. Arnson doesn't close out properly, but Uretha took a step before he put it down. It's a travel, turnover number 3 on Cass Lake-Bena in the half, 8th of the game. Sacred Heart now can take the lead or tie it with 3.5 left, 50-48. Arnson at the top, fakes to the left, goes to Sunby on the right. Sunby back to Sam Gap near side. Left corner, Arnson. Cass Lake-Bena hedges defensively. Arnson tries to get around Fairbanks. Head fake, out, and they're going to call a foul on Cass Lake-Bena. Fairbanks doesn't like it. So now the foul on Leroy Fairbanks, his 3rd. And now Ethan Arnson at the line for the 1-and-1. Free throws can tie it. Arnson, free throw on the way, good. Ethan Arnson now in double figures with 10. Sacred Heart 5 of 6 from the line in the half. 13 of 14 for the game. Arnson for the tie. Didn't get it. Denny the offensive rebound. Has to get it across. They do. Rather, Gap had to get on the other side of the floor. Gap, reverse layup blocked. Caden Lee down with the rebound. 50-49. 2:50 to go. Lee on the inside. Steps it back from 13. Off the front. Fairbanks the rebound. Can't get it to go. Sunby now brings it in. What a wild sequence. Sunby back across the timeline, 2:35 to go. Sunby left wing, pulls it back out, has to find somebody open, hands it off with Arnson. Gives it to Landon Denny, Gap, back door, nice move, puts it up and in. Sam Gap recognizing and overplaying the defense. 11 points, now it's Sacred Heart by 1, 51-50. Leroy Fairbanks, Caden Lee, backdoor of his own, tried to draw contact and he couldn't finish. Now it's a 5-on-4. Arnson, right wing, inside, trying to take advantage, back to Sunby in the corner. 2 minutes to go. Sacred Heart 51, Cass Lake-Bena 50. Sunby uses the ball screen, now pulls it back out. Right wing, Sam Gap. Pulls it back out, past the 25-foot mark. Caden Lee working on him defensively. Landon Denny at the top, working the offense, 1:40 to play. Sacred Heart led by 11 at the half. They've trailed for the majority of the second half. Cass Lake-Bena has turned it up defensively, forcing Sacred Heart into 7 turnovers in the second half. How long will the Eagles try and play keep away? Tompkinson, Sunby looks inside. Denny the positioning doesn't go there. Right corner, Arntzen. Baseline drive around Fairbanks. He got bumped and a foul. They're going to call a blocking foul on Leroy Fairbanks. Couldn't stay in front of Arntzen. That's going to be the 4th on Fairbanks, the team's 8th. What a wild turn of events in the last couple of possessions. Cass Lake-Bena started the half on a 19-9 run. Trayvon Lee back into the game for Cass Lake-Bena. Arntzen went 1 of 2 in his last appearance. He can make it a 3-point game if he goes 2 of 2. Free throw on the way. In and out, no good. 51-50. 1:10 remaining. Caden Lee. Ball screen with Darren Brown. Crosses over on Gap. This one from deep. Off the front. Rebound into the corner, but tipped and out of bounds. Last touch by Brown and Cass Lake-Bena. Fighting on the inside. Brown just couldn't hang on to it, so now we're inside. 1 minute to go. Sacred Heart, if they can hold on. 58 seconds away from their first ever state basketball appearance. Arntzen in the backcourt, crosses over, tries to get it to the front. Now he will walk it across. 50 seconds remaining. Can the Eagles hang on to it? They've missed the last couple of free throws. They were 8 of 8 in the first half. They've missed a few. Tompkinson caught the pass. Finished. Gap from way outside. Down low to Tompkinson. Sacred Heart 53. Cass Lake-Bena 50. Fairbanks. Brown for the tie. No good. Sunby tried to rebound it and a foul on the rebound. A collision. Sunby ran into Trayvon Lee. They're going to call the foul on Lee. Josiah Sunby a little slow to get up. Trayvon Lee came flying in for the offensive rebound attempt. That's going to be his 5th foul. So for Trayvon Lee, his night comes to an end with 2 points and 4 rebounds, and now a timeout from Coach Destry Sturkle and Sacred Heart. A full timeout, 26 seconds remaining here. Sacred Heart by 3. We're back in 30.
Valley Premier Bank is a proud sponsor of Holly Nuggets Athletics. With tradition, community, and experience since 1892, Valley Premier Bank has been helping the people of Holly and the surrounding communities. Their personal service and dedication create solutions that will drive results you want and expect. Valley Premier Bank is located on 416 6th Street and reachable at 218-483-3361. An FDIC member, an equal housing lender you can rely on. Valley Premier Bank of Holly, proud sponsor of Holly Nugget Athletics.
What's coming? Sacred Heart led at the break by 11 points, 30-19. Cass Lake-Bena came out of the second half on a 19-9 run. We're going to get 2 free throws from Josiah Sunby of Sacred Heart. He got fouled on a rebound. Trayvon Lee tried to get an extra possession for Cass Lake-Bena. Big free throws for the sophomore, Josiah Sunby. Sacred Heart started the game 8 of 8 from the Mustang Seeds free throw line. That was in the first half. They've missed the last couple, whether it's the front end or back end of a bonus. Arntzen has missed a few. Sunby just needs 1 to put some pressure on Cass Lake-Bena to make it a 4-point game. The first free throw, no good. Sunby, 7 points in the game, 3 rebounds. Panther fans stomping their feet to make it a 4-point game. He does. 8 points for Josiah Sunby. Here comes Cass Lake-Bena. 22 seconds left. Caden Lee to make it a 1-point game. It's good! Are you kidding me? 21 points for Caden Lee, and now a quick timeout from Cass Lake-Bena. It'll be a Foston A&W timeout. We'll keep it here, a full timeout. 18.4 remaining in the contest. Sacred Heart by 1. How big was that free throw from Sunby, you ask? Huge. 54-53. Sacred Heart trying to hang on. So here's the scenario. 18 seconds to go in the game. 1 more foul on the Eagles. Panthers will be in the bonus. Eagles, though, however, in the double bonus. Cass Lake-Bena, with the amount of energy they've came out in the second half, forcing 7 turnovers in this half from Sacred Heart. Can they force a quick turnover and try and get a basket? 18 seconds left. If they don't get a turnover, clock winding down with 18 seconds left, they'll have to foul. I would say at the very most 4 seconds can run off the clock for the Panthers to try and force the turnover. Tompkinson can throw it in. He can run the baseline. They give it to Gap, who steps onto the baseline as well. And now he's going to call a timeout. So now the timeout for Sacred Heart. He was on the baseline. Gap got out of bounds. You can do that. You can throw it on the baseline as long as the other player establishes himself as out of bounds. It's basically the same thing as running the baseline. 17.4 remaining. Here's the question, do they put time back on the clock? They probably should. Ball never entered in, so the clock should probably have never started. One of the Cass Lake-Bena assistant coaches, I think, are trying to argue did Sam Gap establish himself on the baseline coming out of bounds. So Gap now will inbounds on the right side. 17.4 remaining. 54-53. Sacred Heart by 1. Gap. Bounce pass into Tompkinson. Caden Lee on him. Now down to 15 seconds. Crosses over into the front court, and there's the reach-in foul. Foul on Aiden White. That's the team's 10th. Rather 11th. They're in the double bonus before. The foul on White, his first. 2 free throws for Kobe Tompkinson. Took some time off. That took just under 7 seconds off. Tompkinson, the first free throw was good. 19 points in the game for Kobe Tompkinson. That leads all scorers for Sacred Heart. Caden Lee for Cass Lake-Bena has 21. A second free throw to make it a 3-point game. No good. Cass Lake-Bena with the rebound. Caden Lee will bring it into the front court. Cass Lake-Bena can win the game. Now down to 5 seconds. 3 seconds. Lee for the win. Short with the rebound. The rebound came right into the hands of Leroy Fairbanks. At the buzzer, did he tie the game? Did he tie the game? A day after St. Patrick's Day, and the luck is still on the side of Cass Lake-Bena. Fairbanks tied it up. It was Caden Lee stepping it back to try and win the game. He missed everything. Fairbanks was Johnny on the spot underneath. Caught it, put it off the window, and put it in. 55-55. If Fairbanks isn't underneath the hoop, Sacred Heart go crazy, but instead, we're going to overtime. Wow. It was 30-19 at the half. And Sacred Heart had that 11-point lead. Now to the overtime period. All knotted at 55. The winner to the state tournament. Who's going to come out on top? The first possession to Cass Lake-Bena. Caden Lee, an easy layup. 23 points right off the tip now. We just started the overtime period. 3:50 remaining. 57-55. Sam Gap, Ethan Ernstson right wing. Gets downhill, spinning, back to Gap, thought about the three, uses a ball screen. At the foul line out to Sunby. Sacred Heart is in the double bonus. Tompkinson around the screen, no good. Denny in for the rebound and offensive board. Can he get it back up? Can he get it back up? It's going to be a jump ball, and it'll stay with Sacred Heart. A big rebound from Landon Denny. to keep the possession with the Sacred Heart Eagles. 3:23 remaining in the overtime. Gap into Denny on the baseline, out of bounds. Back to Sunby. 3:20 to go, OT. Winner to the state tournament. Left wing, Sam Gap. Yeah, and he threw it away. Denny threw it away. Caden Lee. Oh, and he had it tipped away from behind by Arntzen on the fast break. It was a 2-on-1 defensive advantage, Sacred Heart. Nice hustle from Arntzen. 3:08 to go now in the overtime. Caden Lee will throw it in on the baseline, out of bounds. Dominic Fairbanks streaks across. Baseline, out of bounds, tipped, and last touch by Sacred Heart. We had a wild finish to regulation. Caden Lee put up a three-pointer, 55-53. He airballed. Leroy Fairbanks was standing underneath the hoop and put it in at the horn. Here's Fairbanks back door. That's good. The floater is in. Fairbanks now with 13. That's Dominic Fairbanks. Cass Lake-Bena by 4. 2:55 remaining. 59-55. Sam Gap. Tompkinson, right corner three. Short over the top. Rebound underneath to Fairbanks. His fourth. Into the middle, and Sunby stripped him. He stripped him. Here's Tompkinson in for the easy layup. Sunby stripped it away from Dominic Fairbanks. And all the momentum to Cass Lake-Bena by 4. Now it's only 2. Sacred Heart. Can they get the defensive stop with 2.5 to go in the overtime? Lee at the right elbow. Sam Gap on him defensively. Gives it off to Aiden White. Left wing, Leroy Fairbanks. Baseline drive on Tompkinson. Spinning back to the middle. Skip pass back across. Fairbanks right corner baseline. Steps back. Puts it up. No good. Arntzen the rebound. His fourth of the game. Arntzen back across the timeline from right to left. Sacred Heart can tie or take the lead. 59-57. Tompkinson underneath. Fakes to the middle. Turns right hook. No good. Fairbanks another rebound. And it's Lee the other way. Oh no, White, he missed it. He had a layup the other direction. A good look at it. Could have made it a 4-point game. Sacred Heart catches a break. Arntzen at the top. Another chance for the Eagles. 1:30 to go in the overtime. Arntzen down to Denny after the screen. Defense comes out. Gap for the lead is good! Sam Gap from downtown. Sacred Heart by 1. 60-59. Caden Lee at the top. Crosses over again. Inside. Defense is there. Up and a foul and lead to the line for 2. Caden Lee will go to the line. The follow on Sacred Heart's going to go on number 23, Landon Denny. The team's 7th. Cass Lake-Bena in the bonus the rest of the way, but 2 free throws here for Caden Lee. Cole Koss will come in after the free throw. First free throw for the tie. Short. Koss into the game for Cass Lake-Bena. Second free throw for Caden Lee to try and tie the game on the way. That one's good. Caden Lee now with 24, tied up at 60. Leroy Fairbanks off, Uretha in for the Panthers. Sacred Heart basketball, 70 seconds to go in the game. Winner to the state tournament. Could you ask for anything better? Backdoor, Tompkinson, layup, no good. Rebound, Koss, tipped out to Fairbanks. The layup was no good. Coach Sturkle was asking for a goaltend after the basketball was up, and they slapped the backboard. 45 seconds left, now a timeout. Coach Alvin Wind. And also looking for a foul after the drive. They didn't get it. A Foston A&W timeout. We're back in 30 to continue on with overtime.
The Cass Lake-Bena School District is dedicated to their students. Their mission is to educate, support, and prepare all learners for future success. Their vision, to ensure all learners achieve the highest level of critical thinking and creativity. For more information about the Cass Lake-Bena School District, visit clbs.k12.mn.us. Congratulations and best of luck to the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers from the Cass Lake-Bena School District.
Welcome back. We are still inside the Foston A&W timeout. 60 seconds to go in the overtime. 48 seconds remaining. It'll be Cass Lake-Bena basketball. So the question here, how long will the Panthers wind down the clock? How long will they do it? Will they go for something quick maybe? Panthers have it. Gap will apply pressure on Caden Lee. Had a good look, well, not a great look at the end of regulation. He airballed the three-pointer into Caden Lee. Sunby overran him. Dominic Fairbanks catches it in the front court. Sunby recovers. 40 seconds remaining. Section 8A boys basketball championship game. We're in overtime. Now 35 seconds. Caden Lee, Gap on him. Gap has had some issues with him. Underneath, layup was no good. He threw it over the top of the rim. Caden Lee gets to the inside. Darren Brown wide open. He missed it, and the basketball to Sacred Heart. It was a tough angle, so he couldn't use the bank board. 25 seconds left. Will Sacred Heart get the final possession? 20 seconds remaining. Coach Sturkle will probably run it down and take a timeout. Now down to 15. Gap in front of his own bench. 10 seconds remaining. Winner to the state tournament. 8 seconds. Gap inside. Stripped away by Caden Lee. Here comes Cass Lake-Bena. Spinning into the front court. A double team. Down to 2. Down to 1. They're not going to get a shot off. We're going to go to a second overtime. Caden Lee gets the turnover, but they couldn't get a shot off. Credit Sacred Heart for keeping him held down on the far side. Overtime number 2 coming your way. And we're going to take a quick break here on KKCQ Garden Valley and YourLiveEvent.com.
This is Bruce Visser from Visser Grading. Visser Grading is proud to be blading and grading the roads in Strand and McDonaldsville townships. We at Visser Grading would like to wish the best of luck to the Ada Borup West Cougars. Thanks for allowing us to serve you, and we hope to for many years to come. Good luck to the Ada Borup West Cougars from myself and everyone at Visser Grading, a proud sponsor of this broadcast.
Tied up at 60. Sacred Heart, Cass Lake-Bena starting the second overtime. A recap for you. At the end of regulation, Caden Lee tried to put up a game winner, down by 2. From the right wing, he airballed. Leroy Fairbanks was underneath the hoop. He caught it, put it up at the horn, and tied the game at the end of regulation at 50. Rather 55. We start the second overtime. Opening possession will belong to Cass Lake-Bena, much like the first one. Caden Lee had a wide open layup in the first overtime. Lee has the basketball for Cass Lake-Bena. 24 points in the game. Left wing Uretha. Back to Caden Lee. He nearly lost it. Left elbow Leroy Fairbanks. And they're going to call a travel on Fairbanks. Did he slide around with it? Sort of as he caught it, gathered and picked up his feet. So unforced turnover. Now Sacred Heart gets it in the second overtime. Tied up at 60. Arntzen fakes left, goes to Sunby on the right. Back to Gap, left wing. Looks inside, nothing there. Now he pulls it back out. Tompkinson will screen for him. He'll roll. Defense is there on the help side. Bounce pass left corner. Arntzen, left elbow, crosses over. It's going to roll out of bounds. Who touched it last? They say Cass Lake-Bena touched it last. Very nearly rolled off the foot of Ethan Arntzen. One of those bang-bang plays. They let Sacred Heart keep it. 3:15, overtime number 2. Inbounds to Josiah Sunby in the middle of the floor in the half court. Sacred Heart from right to left as we see it from our Bid It On Auctions broadcast booth this evening. Sunby spinning around. Right corner, Tompkinson puts it up from 3. Off the front, good line, not good. Fairbanks the rebound, his 8th of the night. Cass Lake-Bena turned it over on their first possession. Here's their second. 3 minutes to go in the second overtime. Caden Lee now on the right wing. Back to the top. Dominic Fairbanks from way downtown off the front. Arntzen was boxing out over there, and they're going to call an over the back on Uretha. The foul on Uretha will be his first. And the Eagles are in the double bonus. The Panthers are in the 1-1. 2 free throws for Ethan Arntzen. Nicely done on the box out to force Uretha to try and go over the top. Arntzen gets the first. 11 points for Ethan Arntzen. 2:46 remaining. It's Sacred Heart by 1. Arntzen tries to make it 2. He does. Free throw shooting so important. Sacred Heart was 8 of 8 in the first half, 7 of 12 in the second. Didn't shoot any in the first overtime period. They start the second overtime, 2 of 2. Leroy Fairbanks, right elbow. The defense gambled. Uretha up, gets it to go. He went at Landon Denny. The defender gambled, trying to get the pass away from Fairbanks at the elbow. We're tied at 62. Gap at the top of the key. Right side, Arntzen. 2:15 to go. Ethan Arntzen pounds the rock with the right hand. Crosses over to his left, steps back. Now Sunby by the 25-foot line. Between his legs, Dominic Fairbanks works on him. Back across, left side, gap, right wing. Caden Lee tips it out of bounds. Dangerous passes. Caden Lee obviously using his speed to tip it out of bounds. 2:01 to go in the game. In the second overtime. Long skip pass. They want to get Arntzen open for 3. Now he kicks it to Tompkinson. That's good! What a sideline out of bounds play. Sacred Heart by 3. 65-62. Fairbanks inside, off to Brown, out to Leroy Fairbanks. This for the tie. No good, in and out. Rebound to Denny. 1:40 remaining. A big time shot from Kobe Tompkinson. 1:30 left in the second overtime. Arntzen kicks it out to Sam Gap. A couple feet in front of half court. Gap into the corner, Tompkinson. Back to Gap in the left corner. Leroy Fairbanks all over him. Baseline drive. Gap into the other corner. Arntzen fakes to the top, goes baseline. Now he's stuck there. Uretha all over him. Back to Sunby. Right elbow. Denny. Tompkinson left wing. 65 seconds. Tompkinson downhill. He got tripped up and a whistle and a foul. The foul's going to go on Cass Lake-Bena. It's going to go on Caden Uretha, his second. And 2 free throws coming for Kobe Tompkinson. He has 24 points on the night. The first free throw to make it 4. He gets it. Sacred Heart 3 of 3 from the line in the second overtime. The second one to make it 5. That's good. 26 for Kobe Tompkinson. Cass Lake-Bena rolls it in. 66 seconds remaining. Sacred Heart 67. Cass Lake-Bena 62. Caden Lee at the top. Tries to shake by Gap. Right wing now he stays in front. Uretha now left corner. Fairbanks, nice spin move. Layup, it was blocked. Excellent block from Denny. Tompkinson runs it down. Nearly walked with it, gives it back out to Sunby. Across midline. Sam Gap, 43 seconds remaining. Has to find somebody. Free throw line. Now Tompkinson out at the top. Left wing Gap. Cass Lake-Bena's probably got a foul. No, Caden Lee. He's going to intercept it. Cass Lake-Bena the other way. And 1. Caden Lee keeping it alive for the Panthers. He intercepted the pass. The foul on Landon Denny is his 5th. His night comes to an end. 2.6 rebounds. If you don't foul, it stays at a 3-point game, and Cass Lake-Bena has to play the foul game themselves. 67-64. Caden Lee to make it a 2-point game. He does. And now a timeout on the floor. 29 seconds remaining. It's going to be a full timeout. We're back in 30.
When you have a project that requires rock, gravel, crushed asphalt, or crushed concrete, or you need some trenching work done, call Visser Trenching of Ada. They'll move the dirt, they'll haul the rock, they'll take care of you. They do a great job. Call Visser Trenching Ada, 784-4381. Good luck, teams, from everyone at Visser Trenching.
Welcome back. In overtime number 2, Sacred Heart leads by 2, 67-65. Lynn Forest Insurance and Community Co-op's Energy Solutions scoreboard. Caden Lee just converted a 3-point play. The foul went on Landon Denny, his 5th. The scenario is as follows. 29 seconds remaining. Cass Lake-Bena can play straight up defense for a little bit here. Try and force a turnover. Sacred Heart, be strong with the basketball. Get it into the front court. They're 4 of 4 from the line in the second overtime. They've shot an incredible mark in the game from the Mustang Seeds free throw line. Gap will inbound on the baseline, gets it into Tompkinson, 90 feet away from his other hoop, and Dominic Fairbanks gets whistled for the foul. A reach-in foul will be his second. 26 seconds remaining. Tompkinson can make it a 4-point game. He was 2 of 2 in his last appearance. 26 seconds left. Tompkinson catches it from the official. First one is no good. What a game it's been. Of course that first one's not going to fall. Now Tompkinson will try and make it a 3-point game. He does. That's a big one. 27 for Tompkinson. 68-65. Sacred Heart by 3. 25 seconds remaining. Caden Lee on the inside. Layup is good. A quick 2 from Caden Lee. He's got 30 points. Cass Lake-Bena nearly caught a quick turnover. Sacred Heart by 1. And now the Panthers will probably have to play a quick foul game. Sacred Heart, they got to get open on the inbound. Sideline out of bounds deep in their own corner. They try to break for it. Bounce pass comes into Arntzen. Uretha all over him. Now in the backcourt being hassled, and there's the reach-in foul. 14 seconds remaining. 2 free throws coming for Ethan Arntzen. The foul on Caden Uretha, his 3rd. 14.8 remaining. If you're just joining us, this isn't regulation. We're in overtime number 2. Arntzen at the line to make it a 2-point game. He does. Arntzen has 13. This second free throw is huge. The officials are talking to Caden Lee on the lane line. As soon as Arntzen puts up a shot, he sort of raises his hand to try and distract him. I think they told him he's not able to do that. He keeps his hand down this time. Arntzen, though, misses the free throw. Rebound to Uretha. Off to Caden Lee on the far side. 8 seconds. Lee on the inside. Up for the tie. No good. Fairbanks the rebound. He was stripped. Lee puts it up from 12. That's no good. And for the first time in program history, the Sacred Heart Eagles are headed to the state basketball tournament. The final score on the Lynn Forest Insurance Agency and Community Co-op's Energy Solutions scoreboard. Sacred Heart 69, Cass Lake-Bena 67. Your final after 2 overtimes. Sacred Heart is headed to the state boys basketball tournament for the first time in program history. Final score again, 69-67. Sacred Heart the win by 2 points. We'll take a break. Head into your post-game reports here on 96.7 FM KKCQ, YourLiveEvent.com, and Garden Valley Channel 37.
Vanish
Let's team up, Varnish Real Estate Team.
It's the team that's ready to bring you home. Keller Williams Inspire Realty Vanish Real Estate Team. When buying or selling real estate, it begins with a call to the experienced Vanish Real Estate Team. Home listings up and down the valley. Fargo to West Fargo, Grand Forks to East Grand Forks. From Devil's Lake to Crookston, Thief River Falls to Grafton, and all points in between. 218-791-4510. VanishRealEstateTeam.com.
West Main Pizza, 784-3700. Specialty Pizza, Calzones, Signature Pizza, Famous Cheese Squares, breads, salads, wraps, 8-inch subs, paninis, pasta, traditional chicken, chicken wings, nachos, tacos, specialty treats, appetizers, sweet treats too. Dine in, carry out, curbside. West Main Pizza, 784-3700. More than just pizza.
This is Chris Brecken from RDK Enterprises, your local precision planting dealer. We will be holding our Hillsboro Operator Clinic Monday, March 21st. To register, visit planterdoc.com. This clinic will provide the opportunity to brush up on monitor setup and operation of precision planting systems. RDK Enterprises Operator Clinic, Monday, March 21st at our Hillsboro store. We look forward to visiting with you. To see the agenda and register for this event, visit planterdoc.com.
Winter is a planning season for farmers, a time when your mind is on your fields. But the shorter days doesn't mean there's less work to be done. At Sis van der Haaf, we know that lower temps won't cool your passion for production. We're continually striving to develop sugar beet varieties that thrive despite the pressures from disease and the challenges of nature. Because sharing the pride of success starts with sharing the passion to achieve it. Sis van der Haaf, a passion that grows.
And thanks for joining us on YourLiveEvent.com. I'm Leif Bach, and taking over a bit here for Dawson Peterson as he is out and about on the floor, and he'll be getting some interviews for us from the two teams as they just gave them their trophies and their medals. We are still in COVID-19 protocol, so each individual is not allowed to get their medal from the district manager, section manager. So here we are as coaches hand out the medals and runners-up in Section 8A basketball, boys basketball. Well, the runners-up are Cass Lake-Bena Panthers as they fall to the Sacred Heart Eagles, 69-67 in 2 overtimes. And so big deal there, and especially for these Sacred Heart Eagles, their first time going to the state championship, the state tournament, I should say. This is their first time appearing in this championship game, and so a really cool story as we get ready down on the floor. And Dawson, I have you join us a little bit. Do you feel the electricity? Because I do from up here.
Leaf, this is just an unbelievable atmosphere for this program, for Sacred Heart, and their first time here at the section championship game. I want to see if I can get out on the floor here and talk with Coach Sturkle of the Sacred Heart Eagles, and everybody just so fired up, so proud of this group in an unbelievable game, a 2 overtime contest with a very, very good Cass Lake-Bena Panthers team, 69-67. That was your final score, and what a game that was. If there's any kind of game you want for a championship contest, that was it.
Absolutely, and one of the things for me, Dawson, is that I never had the opportunity. We were never good enough. I don't know if you ever had the opportunity, but the cutting of the net is such a big deal. It's a huge deal, and all the emotion, both for the winning and the losing teams on this situation.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. It really is. That little piece of net symbolizes, especially for the Sacred Heart Eagles, the first team to ever go to the state boys basketball tournament. Kobe Tompkinson over here giving a hug to one of his loyal fans, and what a game he had as well, and an outstanding performance by everybody, and just such a great memory for these young men.
It's just so awesome, and again, especially when the emotion they're going through these guys because they're the first ones to do it. Like, that's the really big key and the headline story here is your first chance as one of the assistant coaches goes up now. Everybody goes wild. But to be the first and to kind of pave the way and to show all the hard work you've put in, that's really the big story, Dawson.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about in our pregame coaches interviews with Coach Sturkle, and it's just all the hard work. He had mentioned these guys playing with a chip on their shoulder throughout this year. Nobody really predicted them to get to this point, and they had used that as motivation throughout the year. As Coach Sturkle is up on the ladder, he's taller than me. I think he stands about 6'8". He's halfway up the ladder. Everybody else goes right up to the top, cutting the net down. Such a great memory for these two teams.
Okay, let's take another quick break on both KKCQ 96.7 along with GVTV and YourLiveEvent.com. We'll let these guys get the net down, and then by that time, maybe Dawson will be able to get some interviews. This is the championship of 8A boys basketball, Minnesota boys basketball. Final score in 2 overtimes, 69-67. Sacred Heart over Cass Lake-Bena.
The Cass Lake-Bena School District is dedicated to their students. Their mission is to educate, support, and prepare all learners for future success. Their vision, to ensure all learners achieve the highest level of critical thinking and creativity. For more information about the Cass Lake-Bena School District, visit clbs.k12.mn.us. Congratulations and best of luck to the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers from the Cass Lake-Bena School District.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Linforce, your insurance source. Visit Linforce Agency with locations in Boston, Bagley, Clearbrook, Monoman, and Ada.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, on 96.7 FM KKCQ, along with Garden Valley Television, Channel 37, and YourLiveEvent.com. I'm Leif Bakken, which may be a little surprise to you because you haven't heard my voice the entire game until just recently. But after 2 overtimes here in Section 8A, well, the Sacred Heart Eagles are the champions. And we'll be heading to the state tournament. They beat the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers, who were on the prowl, trying to make it back. As I bring Dawson Peterson, who's down on the floor. Wow, what a special moment, huh?
Yeah, Kobe Tompkinson just cut down the remainder of the net, held it up, and just got a loud ovation from all these fans. And it's just an awesome memory. And we'll see if we can get Coach Destry Sturkle here after this team photo. They're going to get everybody in on the team photo. They're going to get all their fans, all the student section. This is a phenomenal achievement here for this Sacred Heart Eagles program. The first time in school history heading to the state tournament. 69-67, your final score. Everybody's in on it. What a moment. Wow.
Let's get, I'll take it away from you for a brief moment. Take a quick look at the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers as looking here, the lead scorer and doing a nice job for his team was Caden Lee. If I can read Dawson's notes properly, 28 points on the night. What a good job for him. Leroy Fairbanks had 17. Dominic Fairbanks with 13. And just a really good job for the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers, who did their best. As we look at Sacred Heart Eagles, lead scoring, Kobe Tompkinson with 26 on the night. That was followed by 13 with Ethan Arnson. Sam Gapp had 14. And now we'll go back down to the floor. Thanks for waving me down, and let me turn the camera over to you. Zoom in, and you are live now on the floor. Dawson Peterson standing with head coach of the Sacred Heart Eagles.
Well, Leaf, thanks a lot. And we're down here with Coach Destry Sturkle of the Sacred Heart Eagles. And Coach, what a moment this is. We've got the whole community behind you guys, the first time in program history. And what a game and what a moment.
Just a big moment for the program, for the school, for the community. A lot of hard work from a lot of different people. But most importantly, those boys, those men, love them to death.
A 2 overtime battle with Cass Lake-Bena. We knew it was going to be a close game. We knew it was going to be a tight game, a good game. Did you expect it to go like it did?
We missed some free throws. I thought we were going to, maybe peter out at the end there. I didn't know if we could handle a double overtime, but they stepped up and we made the plays when we needed to. And it's going to be a battle. Hats off to Cass Lake. They wanted this just as bad as us, and I'm just so happy for our men that we get to punch our ticket to state.
And there were certainly times throughout those overtime periods. Really, let's start with the end of regulation. You guys are up 2. Caden Lee puts up that 3-point basket, airballs it, and right there it's like, okay, here we go. And then Leroy Fairbanks right under the hoop catches the airball. What's going through your mind at that point?
I thought we had the game won, and Leroy slipped there on the backside, and hardest shot to rebounds an air ball, but they did it, forced that overtime. But our guys just resilient. They don't hang their heads. They came off happy, excited to keep going, and man, just so proud. This is a lot of hard work. A lot of guys that's been through the program in my 8 years that I wish I could experience this with, but I know they're happier than heck for this crew, and I'm so happy for these seniors and how the togetherness and the work they've put in. Holy cow, I'm just blessed to be a part of it.
Well, let's talk about a couple of those seniors here for a moment. Sam Gapp, Cullen Rourke, Isaac Zavrall off the bench, Caden Reimer, another one. A ton of seniors on this group, but to be able to punch your ticket to state, that just means so much more, and it's so much sweeter.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. They deserve it. Such a hard-working group. They fell a little short in football, and they didn't want to feel that again tonight. And then let's keep this train going.
All right, sounds good, Coach. Thanks for the time for coming over. Congratulations, and go celebrate with your team and the community.
I will. Mom, Dad, love you guys. Mwah.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. That is the head coach of the Sacred Heart Eagles, Coach Destry Sturkle, with us in our Barrick Family Farm post-game coaches interviews. Dawson Peterson down on the floor here. Sacred Heart defeats Cass Lake-Bena in 2 overtimes, 69-67. Leaf, back up to you up there in the booth.
Hey, thanks. Thanks so much, Dawson. As I get things all adjusted up here, I just did a really cool pan out, if you've been watching on your live event, to see Dawson standing out there in the middle of all the Sacred Heart fans, as we appreciate getting those comments, and we'll see if he can get some more with either some players or maybe see if Coach Wynn steps back out. I know tough loss again for Cass Lake-Bena Panthers. They fought hard. It looked like they'd given up towards the end, and now we'll head back down here and jump on. Thanks for being with us on KKCQ 96.7, Garden Valley Television, and your live event. Back on the floor as we adjust things.
Thanks a lot, Leaf. Down here with Kobe Tompkinson with the Sacred Heart Eagles. And Kobe, what a game, huh? And what a moment. What does this mean to you?
Oh, this means everything. This has been definitely my personal goal for 4 years, to hang a banner, make history. And it's been our team goal for the last 2-3, and we got it done. We couldn't be happier right now.
Well, just take me through some of the final moments. How about the end of regulation? You guys think you probably have the game won after the airball 3-pointer, but Leroy Fairbanks puts that putback in. What's your mindset as he puts it back in?
He got that rebound. We're kind of like, damn. But overtime, we've been there. I think we've been to 3 overtime games this year. We haven't lost one. So we're good in those situations. So when we're in the huddle, we were like, we can get it done.
I'll put another mark up there for another overtime victory. The final moments of overtime number 2, what's going through your head?
About 1 second left, Josiah got the rebound, and I was just so happy because I knew we won. I knew it was tough, but that made it even better.
All right, sounds good, Kobe. Thanks for coming over, and hey, congratulations. That plaque looks amazing, huh?
It does. It looks very pretty.
All right, thanks a lot. Leaf, back up to you in the booth here.
Hey, thanks so much, Dawson. As Dawson We'll try to find some more players and get some more comments here in our post-game report on 96.7 KKCQ, Garden Valley Television Channel 37, along with yourliveevent.com. I'm Leif Bakken, and been glad to be part of this with a lot of folks, as it's just so exciting to watch all these sections and regional tournaments that you've seen, especially on your live event, and just a special moment for a lot of great athletes and just all the great things that athletics teach you and you go through as you're growing up. Let's take a look at some of these statistics again. Let's look in the rebounding category once again and see here that on the Cass Lake-Bena Panther side of things, Leroy Fairbanks led the way with 6 rebounds, and then it looked like Caden Lee, Dominic Fairbanks, they each had 4. Dominic Fairbanks, he had 6, and then Caden Lee had 4 along with Trey Vaughn, and looks like we'll find our friend Dawson Peterson again, and he's found himself another great player to talk with. Dawson.
Hey, Leaf, thanks a lot. Down here with Josiah Sunby, a sophomore for the Sacred Heart team. And Josiah, what a game, a 2 overtime victory to advance into the state tournament next week. What does this win mean for you personally?
Personally, it's just a huge accomplishment. We knew we were a good team at the start of the year. No one had us down for even winning our conference, so just to be here is a great pleasure.
Well, we asked Coach Sturkle in our pregame interview about the chip you guys have on your shoulder. With nobody really picking you or overlooking you before the season started, as a player, from your perspective, what was that like? What was sort of the attitude you guys held throughout this amazing, successful season?
I mean, our team is just so close. We're all brothers, and just before the season, we all just wanted to play the game we love and play together.
Well, and a lot of players, obviously it's rare to get into that state tournament. This is the first time in program history for Sacred Heart, but for you personally as a sophomore, you get it this year and a lot more success to come, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's the plan.
All right, sounds good, Josiah. Thanks for talking with us, and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Leaf, back up to you. That's Josiah Sunby of the Sacred Heart Eagles talking with us in our post-game coaches' comments, walking down here on the floor as Cass Lake-Bena falls to the Sacred Heart Eagles 69-67. Double overtime, Sacred Heart punching their ticket to their first ever state boys basketball appearance.
Yeah, Dawson, I don't know if you got any of your breath back because you got to call such an exciting game, but now you get to down there and just take a deep breath and talk to these guys one-on-one.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so exciting to see the emotions of these players after this victory and just how everything's going and everything that's just running through them at this point in time. And we talk about, how big of a victory it is for the team, of course, but that team picture, who was in on it? It was that entire community supporting this Sacred Heart Eagles group, and just what an achievement. It's just unbelievable getting into the state tournament, first time ever.
Well, let's see if you can find anybody else as I jump into the rebounds for the Sacred Heart Eagles. And we look, Sam Gap leading the way. He had 7 rebounds for his Eagles team. 6 rebounds pulled down by Landon Denny. Also 4 pulled down with the Ethan Arnson. And, just a handful of rebounds for a few other players, including Martin, who stepped in. Kobe Tompkinson, he had 2, but mostly on the scoring side of things, he did an excellent job. 26 points again total for him, and 14 for Sam Gap, 13 for Ethan Arnson. And again, for Cass Lake-Bena, your leader in scoring was Caden Lee. Great job for the sophomore with 28 once again, and 17 for Leroy Fairbanks, 13 for Dominic Fairbanks, as I try to glance around as I've lost track of Dawson Peterson, but he's down there trying to get it. Oh, there we are. Here we are. All right, I've got you turned back up, Dawson, and
well, Leaf, thanks a lot. Down here with Parker Erickson, one of the freshmen on this team for the Sacred Heart Eagles, getting a different perspective from one of the players out. He was down on the bench, but supporting his group through and through. Parker punching the ticket to state. What's it mean for you?
Most of all, it's just exciting. As you guys can tell, my voice is gone. We've all been screaming. It's just electric. Us boys together, it means a lot. I know our seniors, all our guys have worked so hard through the whole year, not just this year. They're all their years. Freshmen through seniors, whatever they do. All us guys, we're one team, we're all together, and so let's go to state, baby.
And we were just talking with Josiah Sunby as well. He was talking about how close of a group you guys are, and a lot of times with guys that may not get as many minutes as they might want, they might hang their head, whatever else, but you guys keeping your head up, cheering your guys on, obviously losing your voice, and what a moment.
Yeah, you know, we're all one team. Yeah, I guess that's it.
All right, sounds good, Parker. Go celebrate with your team. Leaf, that was Parker Erickson, one of the freshmen on this team for the Sacred Heart Eagles. See if we can track down a couple more players as Sacred Heart wins in double overtime, 69-67.
Well, thanks a lot, Dawson, as I zoom out on your live event. But for those of you listening on 96.7 and on GVTV, we're at the Ralph Engelstead in Thief River Falls. The Section 8A championship just wrapped up, as it looks like there's a group picture going on, and it won't take them too long to get that taken care of. And again, a double overtime win here for the Sacred Heart Eagles, first time in school history making it this far, and their first time going to state, 69-67 over Cass Lake-Bena. What an accomplishment there. Take another picture. Guess what? We're going to take a timeout and be right back here on yourliveevent.com, Garden Valley Television, and KKCQ. Be right back with more of this post-game championship for Sacred Heart Eagles.
Cleveguard Apartments, with locations in Ada, Fargo, and Halstead, wish all the area teams the best of luck. Cleveguard Apartments, with locations and apartment complexes in Ada, Fargo, and Halstead. Also with self-storage and commercial rental space in Ada. Cleveguard Apartments. Call Mark at 701-866-7794. Best of luck to all the area teams from Mark and Geraldine at Cleveguard Apartments, with locations in Ada, Fargo, and Halstead. 701-866-7794.
Glad to have you along for the ride here on yourliveevent.com and 96.7 KKCQ. I'm Leif Bakken, and glad to fill in for Dawson Peterson, who's down on the floor trying to track down some of our Sacred Heart guys, and the Eagles punching their first ticket ever to state tournament. That'll be starting on Tuesday as they beat Cass Lake-Bena Panthers 69-67 in 2 overtimes. And how exciting that was for all of you watching and listening. We appreciate that very much. And go down to Dawson, who waiting on a couple of guys as they continue to take some pictures.
Well, it looks like we got a senior picture down here. Some of the seniors, well, they're all of the seniors for Sacred Heart. Sam Gapp, Cullen Rorick, Isaac Zavrall, Caden Reimer, Nick Brunden, Zach Martin, Kobe Tompkinson, and Caden Shower, and what just a fantastic achievement for the senior group. Let's see if we can get another one on, try and track down Sam Gapp here. Sam, can we talk to you real quick?
Yeah.
Of course, right? So we're down here with Sacred Heart player Sam Gapp, and Sam, what a moment for you. Personally, what does it mean for you to win this game?
It's unbelievable. It feels great. Beginning of the season, never would have thought we would be here. I mean, we had talent coming back, and I mean, last year we didn't have a good start, a good end. We started with a good end, but we started off this year just great, and then we kind of believed. We worked ourselves up through these big games, won them in close games, and we're like, okay, maybe we can do this. And I mean, at the last game on Tuesday, we saw Fertile and Cass Lake play, and they were good. We saw Cass Lake was really good. And I was a little bit nervous. I didn't know how the game was going to go. We haven't played them. And, you know, we came out here with our heads up, just, you know, a belief in our defense, and just transition defense to offense and do what we do best and just stick to our game and not push things and let them control the game.
Well, let me ask you about you guys playing with a chip on your shoulder throughout the year. A lot of guys mentioning people may have counted you guys out a little bit, but, how do you guys play with that chip on your shoulder? Obviously so consistently, just a mighty successful year, of course. How do you guys manage to stay calm with that chip on your shoulder? Because sometimes that can hurt some teams, but obviously not for you guys.
I just throughout sports, we've always kind of been the other underdogs, counted out, and I don't know. I don't really pay attention too much to what other people say. We kind of stay in our own little group and believe in what we believe, and don't let that bother us on the court. And we have good friendships between the team and all get along very well, so that translates to the court, and it shows.
So you had the tough task of trying to stay in front of Caden Lee tonight. I don't want to put you on the spot, but shook you a couple times out there on the floor. But the tall task, what's it like guarding a premier player like him, a sophomore as well? But what's it like trying to hold him down in a game like tonight?
Back in when we played Thief River and when we played Northern Freeze, I had to guard one of their better players, just face guard and stay on him. But Lee is a different player. He's quick. I thought I could figure out by the end of the game, and then he'd be going one way, he'd go the other way, and I thought it would be consistent. But no, he saw your first jump and he'd just shift right away. And I couldn't figure out. He's an amazing player. He has a good career going ahead for him.
Well, it doesn't matter at this point. You guys end up coming out on top. You get the better of Cass Lake-Bena 69-67. Double overtime. Sam, thanks for talking with us, and congratulations, and go enjoy it.
Thank you.
All right, Leaf, back up to you. That was Sam Gapp, one of the seniors for the Sacred Heart Eagles, with us in our post-game interviews as Sacred Heart punches their ticket to the state boys basketball tournament for the first time in program history.
Hey, sounds good, Dawson. Appreciate you getting these guys interviewed, and just the raw emotion of all of it for everybody, the community, as you'd mentioned, and the coach as well, as, again, the final here in 2 overtimes, 69 for Sacred Heart Eagles, 67 for Cass Lake-Bena Panthers, and that puts the Eagles on track to head on down to the cities, and they're going to get to go to state. It's going to be lots of fun
Zach,
for them.
Talk on the radio?
Oh, sure.
We're streaming up here as well, so let's just face our camera up there.
Well, Dawson, you're getting it all arranged. I'll let you go ahead and take over. Zach Martin, right?
Yep, that's it. Zach Martin, one of the seniors on this group for the Sacred Heart Eagles. Zach, thanks for talking with us and the emotions running through. Are you calmed down a little bit after that wild game?
Yeah, definitely.
So in those final moments of the game, at the end of the second overtime, what's running through your head, realizing you guys are going to the state tournament?
Well, I'm just trying to stay in the moment the last few seconds, and then I hear the buzzer go off, and I was kind of zoned in. So when the buzzer went off, I'm like, "Oh, the game's over!" And then everyone started going crazy.
And you had a tough task working on the inside. Leroy Fairbanks, you were working on him. He was working back on you a little bit. Tell me about your guys' game plan and what your role is coming into tonight's game, and how tough you had to be underneath.
Well, we knew they were really good at fast break and offensive rebounds, so we knew that if we limited that, we'd be in good shape. My role is kind of just to get offensive rebounds and to rebound whenever I can. And I think we did a good job as a team doing what we needed to do, and we ended up winning.
And you certainly did a good job of that. You guys punched your ticket to the state tournament, first time in program history. And from understanding, talking with everybody else, the consensus is this is such a close group of guys, and just what a moment, especially for you seniors.
For sure, yeah.
All right, sounds good. Zach, go enjoy the win. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, back up to you, Leaf, in our Bid It On Auctions broadcast booth here from Ralph Engelstedt Arena in Thief River Falls. Sacred Heart over Cass Lake-Bena, 69-67 in double overtime.
That's right, Dawson. And, Dawson, I'm starting to think that this Bid It On Auction broadcast booth is, I'll lay a mattress right here and just call it home. But I guess tonight's the last night, so much for that.
Well, we could be down here all night as long as there's people on the floor. We're going to keep talking to them.
Sounds good to me, Dawson. As again, a double overtime final in favor of Sacred Heart over Cass Lake-Bena, 69-67 for the Minnesota boys basketball Section 8A championship. And just a reminder on some of the other games that happened this evening. It was Perham over Duluth Glendon Felton, 54-40. And I have not heard back on the other game from for you're going to have to help me out here, Dawson. New York Mills, and then
We had Dilworth, Glendon, Felton, and New York Mills. I believe they were in a.
no, it was the BBE school, which is.
Oh, that's Belgrade, Bruton, El Rosa. Yep.
Yes, I'm still
That's
trying.
right.
I'm still trying to get everything connected in my brain since I'm still new and this is my first basketball season. But yeah, waiting on that update. It was BBE over NYM 37-36. We figured right around halftime, and yeah, we're here at the Ralph Engelstad Arena, Thief River Falls, Minnesota. Leaf Bach and Dawson Peterson, who you heard make the call here on 96.7 KKCQ, along with YourLiveEvent.com, and glad to have been part of the team for the last few days with Dawson. And as Dawson wanders around, anybody else you think you're going to get here?
Well, I was going to see if we could get some final comments from Coach Elvin Wind of Cass Lake-Bena. I'm trying to find him down here on the floor. I'm not finding him here for the moment. Cass Lake-Bena might be out of here at this point, as we're into the 9 o'clock hour. But our final score tonight, 69-67 in double overtime. Sacred Heart over Cass Lake-Bena. I just want to reiterate, what a cool moment for Sacred Heart tonight. It's always big, of course, to punch your ticket to the state tournament, but for the first time in program history to basically etch your name in history for the Sacred Heart Eagles boys basketball program. That's something that, of course, will live on forever, and people will remember this team, remember this group of guys for a very long time.
Hey, just got a final. BBE beat New York Mills 71-65. So that solidifies that side of things.
Okay. That's in Section 6A.
Right.
Okay.
So that's that. Well, Dawson, I tell you what. I'm tired of talking on the radio. You've got to come up here and give some of your final statistics because your chicken scratch is as bad as mine. So
Well,
I'll let you come back and wrap up the rest of the postgame.
When you have a game like that one was, I'm just looking down quick, scratching it onto the paper, as long as we got a record of it so we can get it on paper and get it into our game recaps over at rjbroadcasting.com. Stay up to date with all of that, games and teams from around your area. Leaf, I will head on up there. I think this will conclude our interviews from down here on the floor at Ralph Engelstad Arena here in Thief River Falls. Sacred Heart over Cass Lake-Bena, double overtime, 69-67.
Sounds good, Dawson, as Dawson Peterson makes his way back up here to the Bid It On Auction broadcast booth. I'm Leaf Bakken, and glad to have helped out in this post game. And stick with us. We've got those final numbers coming up for you here in the post game on KKCQ. That's 96.7 FM. Stay tuned there, along with YourLiveEvent.com. Thanks so much for being with us. Once again, the final after two overtimes. Sacred Heart 69, Cass Lake-Bena 67. We're coming back in just a bit with more.
In the months of preparation for spring planting, all through the growing season and into the long days of harvest, the team at AgriMax is here to help farmers around the Red River Valley with a complete array of services and products. AgriMax will help reach every producer's goal, peak profitability. Contact AgriMax at their location in Fertile, Minnesota at 218-945-3536, in Fisher at 218-891-2211, or online at agrimaxllc.com.
The Leech Lake Education Department reminds families of the opportunities with early childhood, child care, Head Start, and child care scholarships. There are several classrooms throughout Leech Lake for early childhood. Learn more about these educational opportunities for your child by contacting the Leech Lake Education Department's Early Childhood Development, 218-335-8345.
American Crystal Sugar Company, with their 4,000-plus employees and shareholders, are deeply rooted in the communities of the Red River Valley. They're committed to the sustainability and growth of their business and to improving the lives in the places where we work and live by investing in people, our communities, and the future of American Crystal Sugar. Visit crystalsugar.com to learn more about scholarships, grants, volunteerism, donations, and more through the Community Roots American Crystal Giving Program. Growing strong community roots, American Crystal Sugar Company. Welcome to a caring community of older adults living safely in company with others. Welcome to Benedictine Living Community Ada, with the commitment to senior living you've come to expect from Benedictine. As a member of the Benedictine organization, Benedictine Living Community Ada can offer personalized care to your loved ones while relying on the support and expertise of a larger network of professionals. We are proud of our community and we are proud to serve you. We are Benedictine. Learn more at benedictineliving.org/together.
Phil Vagno, Coldwell Banker, Forks Real Estate. He's been part of the Grand Forks, East Grand Forks, and surrounding communities for over 60 years. Phil's a proud supporter of high school sports and especially Sacred Heart Athletics, and also a proud proponent of real estate investments. Let Phil be a calming voice in the crazy world of real estate. Give him a call so he can help you out. All he asks is you give him a chance. Phil Vagno, Coldwell Banker, Forks Real Estate, 218-693-1062. Online, forksrealestate.com. Thank you and good luck, Eagles.
Bitker Inc. reminds area farmers, please order your ag tubes and tires for spring. Ag tires and ag tube supply is tight and it's getting tighter. If you're not sure on how many tires or ag tubes you need, call Troy, the tire guy, and give him a heads up for sizes. He'll work with you to have these available for spring. Don't wait any longer. Call Troy at Bitker Inc. 218-456-7467. And during National Ag Month, Bitker Inc. thanks the area farms and farm families for working to grow the food for all of us, and thanks for your business from Bitker Inc.
The Cass Lake-Bena School District is dedicated to their students. Their mission is to educate, support, and prepare all learners for future success. Their vision, to ensure all learners achieve the highest level of critical thinking and creativity. For more information about the Cass Lake-Bena School District, visit clbs.k12.mn.us. Congratulations and best of luck to the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers from the Cass Lake-Bena School District.
Hey folks, I'm Jimmy Don Holmes from Waco, Texas. This is my oldest son, Jake. I met the Christian family recently in Waco, and they just seem like really good people, and that's the kind of people you want to buy a car or truck from. Sometimes when you're buying a vehicle, you feel a little bit of anxiety. You won't feel that here. This place it's got a good feel, and the folks are good, and I like that. In our shop, I'm big on quality and customer service. You're going to get the quality when you buy a Chevrolet vehicle, and you're going to get the customer service when you deal with the Christian family here at Christian Motors.
Community Co-op Energy Solutions. Our team will help you with pre-buys and contracting. Our services also extend with on-farm service calls, tanks, pumps, bulk oil, DEF and tank monitoring, fuel, propane, and natural gas. Call us at 1-888-935-2281 so we can help you with energy solutions from Community Co-op.
Final score tonight from Ralph Ingolstadt Arena here in Thief River Falls in the Section 8A Boys Basketball Championship game. Sacred Heart wins by 2, 69-67 over the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers. Time now to jump into more of our post-game report, starting with our sub of the game being brought to you by JT Station in Fertile, as our our sub of the game is going to go on the side of the Sacred Heart Eagles tonight. We talked to him down on the floor, talked to a number of players down on the floor, of course, but Zach Martin is going to be our sub of the game tonight, and we talked about how tough he had to be on the inside for Sacred Heart. He certainly was tonight. 4 points, 2 rebounds, and all those coming in big spots and trying to limit offensive rebounds from the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers. Doing his job and filling his role nicely, Zach Martin is our JT Station sub of the game this evening. Locally owned and operated, JT Station in Fertile sells hot stuff foods, frozen foods, selected groceries, household products, and much more. Their hot stuff foods and deli will provide you with a fresh, quick, and easy breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and they also offer some of the best car services in town. They're open from 6 a.m. until 9:30 p.m. daily. JT Station in Fertile. So Zach Martin is our sub of the game. We'll move on to our stars of the game this evening, as we'll have a couple of them from either side of the team. Starting with the Sacred Heart Eagles, Sam Gapp is going to be our first star of the game for Sacred Heart. Our second star will be Ethan Arntzen, as that will do it for the Sacred Heart Eagles stars of the game. Our other star going on to the side of the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers, Caden Lee, with an outstanding game with 31 points and 4 rebounds. Leroy Fairbanks will be our fourth and final star tonight, as he had 17 points and 8 rebounds. Leroy Fairbanks was the reason our tonight's game went into overtime. He caught an air ball off the hand of Caden Lee at the end of regulation right under the hoop and put up the layup on the left side and sent it to overtime, tied up at 55 apiece. Coach Sturkle telling us in our post-game coaches interviews, brought to you by Barrick Family Farms, that the hardest rebound to catch is an air ball, and well, he got it done there, but then they came up short in the end in double overtime. Final score is 69-67. Our stars of the game presented by the Foston Chiropractic Clinic, Sam Gap, Ethan Arntzen for Sacred Heart, and Caden Lee and Leroy Fairbanks are our Foston Chiropractic Clinic stars of the game. Moving on to our RDK Enterprises Precision Player of the game, as we are going to hand out that award to Kobe Tompkinson tonight. Kobe Tompkinson is going to be our RDK Enterprises Player of the game this evening. He had 27 points, 2 rebounds. Kobe Tompkinson, congratulations to you. He had 7 points at halftime, 19 at the end of regulation, and then final after 2 overtimes. 27 points. He had a lot of made free throws in those overtime periods as well, as the free throws came up big in that second overtime for Sacred Heart, and we'll get to those numbers here in just a few moments as we hand out our RDK Enterprises Precision Player of the Game. That is Kobe Tompkinson for the Sacred Heart Eagles. RDK Enterprises, your local precision planting dealer. They will be holding their Hillsboro Operator Clinic on Monday, March 21st. That's this coming Monday. To register, visit planterdoc.com. This clinic will provide the opportunity to brush up on monitor setup and operation of precision planting systems. RDK Enterprises Operator Clinic, Monday, March 21st at their Hillsboro store. They look forward to visiting with you. To see the agenda and register for this event, visit planterdoc.com, as Kobe Tompkinson is our Precision Player of the Game, being brought to you by RDK Enterprises. Final score tonight, 69-67. The Sacred Heart Eagles over the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers in double overtime and effectively punching their ticket to the state boys basketball tournament to begin next Tuesday. Continuing on here in our post-game report with our Enbridge Energy Player of the Game, or Bring the Energy Player of the Game tonight. And I'm going to give that to Sam Gap for Sacred Heart. 14 points, 7 rebounds. Talked to him after the game and had the tall task of guarding Caden Lee for Cass Lake-Bena. We sort of joked with them that Lee shook him a few times on the defensive end, getting him a little off balance, but did a good job for the most part against Caden Lee, a heck of a player, as Sam Gap is going to be our Enbridge Energy, Bring the Energy Player of the Game. Sam Gap, 14 points and 7 rebounds here this evening, as that will wrap up some of our segments in our post-game report. Zach Martin, our JT Station sub of the game. Sam Gap, Ethan Arntzen for Sacred Heart, and Caden Lee and Leroy Fairbanks, our Foston Chiropractic Clinic stars of the game. Our RDK Enterprises Precision Player of the Game was Kobe Tompkinson for Sacred Heart. And then our Enbridge Energy, Bring the Energy Player of the Game, Sam Gap for the Sacred Heart Eagles, 14 points and 7 rebounds. Final statistics tonight are being brought to you by Christian Motors in Fertile. We'll start with the Sacred Heart Eagles, as Sam Gap had 14 points and 7 rebounds this evening. 2 points for Isaac Zavarol and a rebound off the bench. Josiah Sunby had 8 points and 3 rebounds. 13 points and 4 boards for Ethan Arntzen. 2 points and 6 rebounds for Landon Denny. 4 points and 2 rebounds for Zach Martin, and Kobe Tompkinson led the way for Sacred Heart with 27 points and 2 rebounds. For the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers, they were led in scoring by Caden Lee with 31 points and 4 rebounds. Leroy Fairbanks was second with 17 and 8. That's 8 boards. 13 points and 6 rebounds for Dominic Fairbanks, and then 5 points for Caden Uretha, and also a rebound for him, and then 2 points for Trayvon Lee with 4 rebounds, and 1 point and 2 rebounds for Darren Brown for the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers. Turnover numbers for both teams. Sacred Heart had 15. Cass Lake-Bena had 10. Sacred Heart, some of those coming right away in the second half as Cass Lake-Bena turned on their defensive pressure. So as we said, Sacred Heart 15 turnovers. Cass Lake-Bena had 10. Numbers from our Mustang Seeds free throw line. Sacred Heart was perfect in the first half. They were 8 of 8. In the second half, they were 7 of 12. And then as we head into overtime, they didn't shoot any free throws in the first overtime. In the second overtime, they went 6 of 8. Their final totals from the free throw line, they were 21 of 28 for 75%, an outstanding number for Sacred Heart. For Cass Lake-Bena from the free throw line, they didn't shoot any in the first half. They were 4 of 6 in the second, 1 of 2 in the first overtime period, and 1 of 1 in the second overtime. Not too many free throws on the board for Cass Lake-Bena. They're 6 of 10. That's easy math. That's 60%. Those final stats brought to you by Christian Motors in Fertile for the best selection in new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Stop by Christian Motors, your Chevy and GMC dealer in Fertile. With one of the best selections around and the most competitive prices, it's worth your time to stop and visit the guys and let them put you in a new vehicle. Check out the selection online as well at christianmotors.com. Proud to be your Chevy and GMC dealer. It's Christian Motors in Fertile. Final score again tonight, 69-67. The Sacred Heart Eagles over the Cass Lake-Bena Panthers in double overtime here from Ralph Engelstead Arena in Thief River Falls. Before we wrap up tonight on KKCQ and your live event, I want to just give a shout out to our sponsors that you heard throughout tonight's broadcast and also saw on yourliveevent.com. Our broadcast tonight and broadcast we get to do in the future as the winter season drawing to a close. The boys state basketball tournament yet to come, of course. All those broadcasts we do not possible without the help of our sponsors, so patronize them when you get the chance, or at the very least, just tell those sponsors thank you. So moving on to the state boys basketball tournament, the number 1 seed from the western half of Section 8A, and now the winners of Section 8A, the Sacred Heart Eagles, on to the state tournament to be played next Tuesday, rather to begin next Tuesday. Sacred Heart over Cass Lake-Bena 69-67. Dawson Peterson now speaking for Leif Bakken, our executive producer on yourliveevent.com, telling you thank you for joining us tonight. Signing off and saying so long on 96.7 FM KKCQ and on yourliveevent.com.